step into the haunted halls of Spooky School. Each week, we take the fearless Jimmy on a journey through uncharted horror territory as we introduce him to spine-tingling movies he's never seen before. Beware, dear listeners, for the chilling tales we unravel may leave you sleeping with the lights on. Here are your hosts, Professor Spooky and Jimmy.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Red Pill Survival Guide. I am your host, Dan E. Red Pill. Today's topic is women, why it's all their fault. I am joined by an esteemed colleague and a best-selling author, the #1 expert on divorce. You, sir, have over 16 divorces on record. There's even rumors that there might even be more.
I think I responded to the wrong ad.
Oh, yeah, I'm just fucking with you. Welcome, everybody, to Spooky School. I am so fucking excited to actually start this up again. Oh, my God. I mean, for the first time, not again. We definitely have not been doing a bunch of recording for, like, the past, I don't know how many months.
No. We definitely were not professional and didn't definitely do a test run for way longer than any test runs ever go.
The longest test run in the history. But you know what? We passed all those tests, and now we're here making real content.
Well, or we could tell everyone that there was no test runs and they can sense that this magic is just pure off the bat.
It's just pure genuine excitement,
Yeah, I mean, right here with all the other guys that talk about all the other guy things. But don't worry, this isn't strictly for the dudes. We cover everything.
Everything.
I look down on the screen. I'll have to wait and look at the camera some more, too. Sorry.
The camera is there's no camera here. This is all natural.
It's just
off the cuff. Exactly. And it's not even a conversation. This is a actual accredited academy that you're in. You will be graded on your performance.
I am afraid of that, but D for diploma, right?
Exactly, yeah. That's what the D in my PhD stands for.
Well, what the hell are we learning about?
We're learning about the ins and outs of horror.
I
guess we should talk a little bit about how this whole thing came about, right? Yeah. So you and I have been bestest pals now for as long as I can remember.
69 months.
And for 20 years. And then out of nowhere, you're just like, yo, man, I want to do a podcast. I think you're cool. We should do one. To which I think my exact response was, that'd be fun. But you and I are not cool enough to be able to just have a podcast where we just shoot the shit and talk about nothing for 4 hours and have people listen to it.
Luckily, I was completely well aware of that.
Hopefully, yeah.
But at the same time, I am lucky because I had an in where I've always loved all things horror movies and horror culture and honestly just the vibe that it embodies. But two things happened where, one, I was born a huge pansy, and then I was also raised decently religious, so I missed out on all of these movies growing up, and I did not see any of them. And you, sir, are not only...
I've seen everything. Okay?
Everything.
Not only was I raised with unsupervised completely unsupervised by any adult in the horror section of my local Blockbuster, I also had the internet. Just whenever I wanted to, I could look up whatever wild shit I could possibly find.
Which, you know that the internet is well regulated to hide all things that could
just
really
fuck you up for life.
Yeah. All things. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Yeah. No, I grew up watching a lot of horror stuff, and I turned out decently normal.
Mm-hmm. Up here.
Oh yeah. Sorry. So we thought this would be a fun thing for a little podcast to where every single week we get together. I assign you some movies you've never seen before. You check them out and come back to me. And I thought when you say, oh yeah, I'm not really into horror, that meant I haven't seen these weird underground French movies that you're always talking about. I've never seen anything horror before.
They literally the farthest I've gone in horror is I am a big science fiction fan. So the scariest movies I've seen is the original Alien and the original Predator, but does not bring far from that. Which movies that definitely qualify as horror, but I like the sci-fi angle,
right? And
so that's the farthest into those waters that I've gone. And even though I've had some great friends that are really, really into horror movies that have tried to change that in me, I've not let them know the extent of my pansyism. But now you give me movies that I just watch on my own, and I can take notes and take myself out of just being scared and see it for what it really is now. And
so we have the pansy, that's the P.
Mm-hmm.
We got to figure out what the H is going to be. But then we have the D that I have always gotten on all of my report cards. So we're 2 for 3 right now on the PhD. We're very actually I'm an esteemed professor, so of course I have a PhD.
Obviously,
a pretty huge DVD and Blu-ray collection of horror films.
Yeah, and VHS.
And VHS tapes.
I
don't have a TV I can hook a VCR into, but I have a whole bunch of tapes. So.
Oh, dude, yeah, damn it, I totally messed up the joke. What the hell is the word for what letters stand for? Something greater? Because goddamn it, between PhD, DVD, VHS, you have them all.
Do you mean an acronym?
Yes.
There we go.
God damn it. Kids, do yourself a favor and study.
You need to know what a TLA is.
No, I don't know what that is yet.
It's a 3-letter acronym.
God damn it.
We're already off to a great start. This is amazing. So I have assigned you 3 hit films.
Yes.
I thought, why not start with the very basics, which I kind of want to have a conversation with you as well on this one, because I am a completely out-of-touch boomer. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the kids are into these days. But when I was like, what are the most basic horror movies I could think of? To me, growing up, the icons were Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Freddy Krueger, right?
Right.
But now, like, I don't really see conversations about these icons as much. It seems like it's been kind of completely replaced by James Wong's stuff. Yeah, that's a good name to look up and remember.
Hey.
I'm not a poser. But you know who I'm talking about. The guy who did Saw, and he did all the Insidious movies. And it seems like that's really where the mainstream audiences would really know.
Yeah, I mean, all of those classic slashers have turned into the best thing that could have happened to marketing, with tattoos and stickers, and especially in the Seattle area, the amount of cars that I've seen with at least all 3 of those serial killers on the car. It is embarrassing that I haven't seen these movies until you made me watch them.
So I thought, what would be a great way to get started then with the original Friday the 13th, the original Halloween, and then the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Mm-hmm. So I went from there and decided, well, okay, if there's going to be other slashers that I want to focus on, what do I do? And I broke it down into a lesson plan. And that's going to be our first semester here at Spooky School, which is Slasher School. Okay. We're going to be going through a whole bunch of classics, starting with the most iconic, slowly working our way down to some of the more obscure, more recent, or just more original take on the genre.
Specifically slasher genre.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. Which is, I mean, dare I say, the quintessential part of horror is the knife and the runaway.
I would think if I were to survey a bunch of normies and just be what do you think of when you think of horror? It's either going to be ghosts or it's going to be slasher movies.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's why I don't have any knives in the house.
Good plan, yeah. You just cut all your meat up with your hands, right?
I do, yeah.
Or that's what your teeth is for.
Obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just such a good cook, you can pull it apart with gloves.
Let that thing slow cook.
Yeah. No, the horror part is when you taste it. All right, but Slasher School.
Slasher School. I heard you watched some movies recently.
I did. And let me tell you, let's play a game.
All right.
It's 2 truths and a lie.
I love this game. Go ahead.
Halloween is a great movie.
That is, yes.
Nightmare on Elm Street is a great movie.
Objectively true.
Friday the 13th is a good movie.
This might be kind of a hot take, I guess, but can I be completely honest with you?
Yeah.
The first Friday the 13th movie kind of fucking blows, doesn't it?
It's kind of really bad.
Yeah.
Which sucks that, so Jason, as far as an icon goes, is obviously top 3 legend. You recognize a hockey mask from wherever, and this is, my introduction to all things. And if you just want to jump right into Friday the 13th first to just...
Don't do it with this movie, yeah.
Don't do it. No. Listen, I'm sure that the rest of the franchise that made billions of dollars or however much in horror movie money is better than this, but this I feel did a disservice to movies more than anything.
I have some bad news for you, pal.
Oh no.
I think out of all of them there's maybe 2 worth watching, and the rest of them are this is what you want to put on when you want somebody to leave the party. what it's like, oh, okay, it's 9 o'clock. I'm tired. What if I just bore everybody? At some point when that movie's on, somebody's finally going to be the first one brave enough to be like, well, it's getting late.
Right. Well, I mean, I hate to bash on it so hard because it did have about 15 redeemable minutes. But
those are some good high quality minutes, okay? And in the 80s when we were starved for content, all right, those 15 minutes defined our lives.
Those were your Subway Surfers.
Exactly.
That's that I mean, let's just dive right into it because we're beating around the bush and like
let's talk some shit. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Start this off with a kick here. Go for
it. So part of the things that draw me into especially the classic horror movies is a little bit of campiness and a little bit of fun. And like, I don't care when things are low budget. Like, I consider that like the punk rock of all things.
Yeah,
movies.
exactly.
Like, it's cool, and it's obviously people's like first attempts at breaking into the industry. And how do you do that with a great return and like not have any budget?
A horror film.
That's a horror film.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's almost as if this is the movie that started that trend.
Almost,
yeah, almost.
Like, which is wildly unfortunate because my only experience with filmmaking at all is in high school. I took a bunch of film classes because the film teacher in high school was the coolest dude ever.
He probably worked on Friday the 13th.
Probably. He wasn't that old, but he probably one of them, you know?
Yeah.
But he like, I didn't care about school at all, and he was like one of the few teachers where I was like, I'm just gonna hang out with this guy. So then I took his film classes to do that, and I guarantee you, if he took a random 10 people from any of his film classes and gave him half the budget and said make Friday the 13th, it would turn out better than this.
Probably.
Because listen, I'm talking just the grade A angles and camera jumps and just like lack of anything happening, either visually, audio-wise, or character-wise, that happens in this movie is laughable.
Yeah.
It's just laughable.
Like, we can't just, like, talk shit and not explain why we think that way. Because, like, if you watch this, it's a very slow kind of movie, but not slow. Like, I get accused all the time of I'm a contrarian with my opinions. I like these really slow movies where nothing happens in them, right?
Yeah, because you big brained.
A little bit,
yeah.
right? But like Eins Men is a great example of that. That's a movie where pretty much nothing happens, but it also makes you feel like you're actually insane the entire time.
That's a great.
Whereas in Friday the 13th, literally there are shots where nothing is happening for 10, 20 seconds. It feels like an accident. There's like, I'll never forget, there's this one specific shot where it's just like a student walking through the park. Like, the scene is over and it's just lingering on her walking through. It's not a POV shot of the killer like watching her. Which that would add suspense, right?
Yeah.
No, it's just her walking through, and there's absolutely no reason for it to even be there, except for one reason, which is feature films are 90 minutes. They have to hit that time mark in order for it to count and get it to play in theaters.
Did they have straight-to-TV movies back then?
Probably.
Yeah, and so that would be like an hour. So in order to not go straight to TV, this is literally why they filled this movie with nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
With what is it, a strip Monopoly game or whatever they played?
So,
sorry, I'll bounce back to the
No
top.
worries, don't worry. According to legend, because you reminded me of this story just now,
cool.
The way that this was produced was Sean Cunningham put an ad in the paper. He just had an idea for a movie title called Friday the 13th. And he put an ad in the paper that just said Friday the 13th, the scariest film ever made. And he was able to use that ad to get the budget up.
Okay.
And he was able to get hype for it and get a whole bunch of money for this project.
Mm.
There was no script. Nobody was assigned to it. Nothing. It was literally just him going, I have a movie idea title. And it was able to generate hype on that.
Everyone listening, follow your dreams. Follow your dreams because you never know.
Could you imagine being a filmmaker now, trying your hardest to get a Kickstarter off the ground to raise a whole bunch of money for your dream project, and then you hear back in the 80s, I didn't even have a script. I just fucking put a thing in the paper and people threw money at me.
Oh my gosh. The amount of work that goes into YouTube videos now, and this dude just took an ad out in the paper.
Yes.
An
even funnier story, too, is the actress who plays Mrs. Voorhees. Mm-hmm. The only reason why she did that movie is because she wanted money for a new car.
What?
Yes. like there's this great interview on like either the Blu-ray or DVD of like behind the scenes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, well, the universe was like sending me a message, and I just kept thinking like, I want a new car, I need a new car, and all of a sudden I get an offer for this, and I was like, well, maybe if I tell him I want X amount for this movie because that's how much that car is going to cost, they'll say yes. What's the worst that can happen?"
Dude. Smooth sailing all the way through for all these people, huh?
I think, like, yeah, at the end when she's just kind of like losing her mind, she's just thinking about how fun it's going to be to just drive that car as fast as possible down the freeway.
This Firebird is mine.
Mine.
This is
Earned the shit.
Which, to be fair, she was the best actor of the movie by far.
By far.
There was 2 good actors. She was number 1 and completely saved the whole thing. And I'm completely bouncing around out of order, but just in case you have not seen the original Friday the 13th yet, Jason's not Jason.
Yeah, oh yeah. Did you not know that going into this?
No idea that there was no hockey mask Jason. I was waiting for a hockey mask Jason the entire time. I thought for sure I was
no wonder you hated it then.
Dude, I had no idea what was going on, and then like yeah. I mean, that's why. So when the mom actually like got up and like you see that twist that this like camp of killers is actually like the mom of a son who drowned, and the son is Jason Voorhees, and that so all the things that I know about Friday the 13th was that about 43 years later.
Yes.
Yeah, all I know is a hockey mask dude with a machete, and I'm sitting here just going like, this is it, dude. This is his fucking magnum opus right now. Where? Huh? Like anything?
What?
Yeah.
Well, no wonder you hated it then. You had like false expectations.
Yeah.
You like got.
Well,
you didn't get bait and switched, but like yeah.
Yeah. No.
Oh, that sucks. Oh man.
Yeah. But luckily, the redeeming qualities were this: the twist at the end with the mom, top tier, just brought me in. That was 13 out of the 15 awesome minutes of this movie. And then the other one, I'm totally blanking on his name, but let me find it real quick, which is the crazy guy in town. Oh, man, IMDb, where is it? Do you remember the crazy guy's name?
I think it's just Mr. Crazy Guy.
Is it really Mr. Crazy
I'm pretty sure it's just Mr. Crazy Guy because that also became a trope. We do have to thank that movie for this trope.
I mean, there is a lot of good tropes that come out.
As the kids are going into town, the crazy guy's like, "You don't want to go in there. Ooh, it's scary, haunted." Ah!
Literally a half a step away from a booga booga booga.
Booga booga booga.
But yeah, I mean, typically in all these movies, I wanted to go in like a scene, not a scene by scene depth, but at least take the movie out in order and kind of explain to everyone what happens. But I needed to start with this to just say like nothing happens, and then some kids die, and then some kids die in a crazy way, and then some camp counselors suck, and then you can't remember any names, and then the movie ends.
Actually, yeah, pop quiz. Name 2 characters in this movie, not including Mrs. Voorhees.
So
just the name. Yeah, close the laptop. Look me right in the fucking eyes. 2 characters. That's it. Who's the main fucking character in this movie? Look me in the eye.
Kevin Bacon.
What's his name? What's the character?
Know. I had the IMDb open for the cast right then and there.
You're cheating.
And I
keep breaking eye contact with me.
Nothing.
Okay. Number 2. Name another character in the movie.
Kevin Bacon
just throw a name out there. It's not
Nancy.
like you're probably right. Yeah. I don't fucking know. I don't have the computer in front of me.
I hope there's a Nancy now, and I only pulled that out because that was one of the good actors of Elm Street, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that, yeah.
But yeah, no, nothing was likable. Nothing was or not likable, but I mean like I said, I like movies for the campiness. I like when things get a little odd, and I like when you can tell that it's like, oh, this is low budge and silly. But like, there's literally shots that were just not cut right.
Yeah,
and just like the things that were bouncing around the screen. Like again, you could go to Mr. Mitchell's class and select 10 students and be like, can you remake Friday the 13th, but make it something higher than an 8 Metascore? And they could do that. What?
You reminded me of something, and I'm totally spacing on what it was, so it can't even be that important, right?
Totally not.
Totally not. The soul. That's what this thing is actually missing. Give me 1 second. The professor's gonna drink from his flask.
Yeah. What are you, my gym teacher?
What are you, my dad? No, Ned, stop! You're drinking and driving. No. Ah. Anyways, the thing that this one really does lack, because I'm thinking of all of the other really low budget horror films that came out around this time, right? You have like Evil Dead and like countless other examples of slashers that came out after Friday the 13th, because all of them kind of hopped on the same train, since this movie made like a boatload of money when it came out, right?
Right.
Friday the 13th lacks soul. There's no feeling of this is a bunch of dudes getting together trying to make something really cool and memorable, and either doing it either outside of the studio system or to spite the studio system, right?
Right.
Because like Dawn of the Dead, for example, is just a completely bonkers horror film made by a bunch of people who wanted to make a completely bonkers horror film.
Right.
And they did it on an extremely low budget. Friday the 13th is a bunch of people who wanted to make a boatload of money, and they didn't know what to fucking do, and decided to basically rip off Psycho at the end of it.
Yeah. Which, so 43 years after the movie came out, one of them was bound to be an absolute star, of course, Kevin Bacon.
Of course.
And even me loving Kevin Bacon now and seeing, if not his first movie or one of the earliest ones that he was in, I still felt no draw to be like, that's Kevin Bacon. Oh my gosh, let's save him. And then, like, spoiler alert, when he gets killed miraculously with the little arrow in his heart, like, nothing. I felt nothing. And I wanted to feel something, not just for his character, but for Kevin.
What's his character's name?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I
Neither do I.
I don't know.
I saw this movie yesterday. I don't know.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, that's also because you smoke so much weed.
Probably.
So, yeah.
I'm high right now, actually.
Just joking, Joe Straight Edge.
Give me my keys.
Give
them back. Come on. I'm just going home. It'll be fine.
Yeah, just going up 25 miles away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm only going on one freeway, and I've only had like 7 drinks this morning. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's my shower beers.
Yeah. Shout out to shower beers.
Because I shower myself in them every morning. Hell yeah.
I'm going over my notes to find anything else to Ralph.
All right, you pop quiz. You passed. You win.
Crazy guy's name is Ralph.
Ralph. Okay, that's one character.
Yeah. But no, I'm literally going through all my notes right now to find anything, and I'm just shitting on the movie more because I mean, there sure axe to the face. You got an arrow through the heart. You got some pretty run of the mill whatever.
The effects
like,
were pretty crazy.
The effects were cool, but the budget had to go for something other than cocaine.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they couldn't hide all of it in their Colombian stash.
And whenever I do hear a lot of praise for this movie, it's always for like the twist at the end, right? I think a lot of the praise for this movie, pardon me, geez. A lot of the praise I think for this movie is more like the result of what happened because of it, and not for the movie itself, if that makes any sense.
Which honestly, that deserves the praise that it gets.
Exactly. But a lot of the praise for the film itself that I always hear is how scary was that ending when Jason comes out of the water and attacks that lady. To which I say it was scary the first time I saw it in Carrie when that happened.
Yeah.
Because like everything from this is like borrowed from something else pretty much and then twisted it around a little bit, right? So we have like Mrs. Voorhees, right? She's the twist is it's not actually the son Jason, it's the mom, Mrs. Voorhees, killing everybody, right? I don't know if you've ever seen a little movie called Psycho. I'm going to spoil it for you though, even though it's older than you are, older than your parents actually. Yeah. It turns out the killer from that movie was a dude pretending to be his mom. So we thought it was the mom killing somebody, and it turns out it's actually him. Friday the 13th. We think it's somebody killing him. Turns out it's actually the mom. Wow, how cool. You spun it around and made it your own. Points for originality, right?
Look at that.
And then, like,
who hasn't stolen from Hitchcock, though?
Exactly. Like steal from the best. Come on.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then, again, later on, that twist of, like, Jason comes out and attacks the girl, and it's like, oh, no, he's actually really real and alive. Ooh. Yeah, that's, like, right out of Carrie. When Carrie just comes out from the fucking grave at the very end of that movie. You've never seen Carrie, have you?
No, but I just got it spoiled.
You got part of it spoiled. I'm going to make you watch it eventually, I promise.
Go. That's Stephen King, right?
Yes.
Go. I knew that.
The book is not that great. But the movie is fantastic.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll listen to the audiobook on 2.5 speed.
There you go, yeah.
No, yeah, and I'm not trying to rag on it too much because like the Jason franchise and the fun campiness that comes with the movies after this movie, that's all cool. And like I respect anything from like starting off Rocky and like getting to what it is today, and the whole like I haven't seen it, but Freddy versus Jason, like obviously it's such a loved franchise that they fuse a couple together, you know, and it's just so like all that is cool, and I'm sure that you'll have a lot of fun watching any of the campier ones from the later '80s and the '90s, even if it's only enjoyed with a 6-pack or a blunt.
Sorry, you reminded me that Jason versus Freddy is a thing, and
Yeah.
I'm not ready to talk on that yet. I'm sorry.
Uh,
It's okay.
What's
Let's move
better? What's better? Alien versus Predator or Freddy versus Jason?
Reading a book. If you had to make me choose between the two.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair, yeah. Better pick up some Moby Dick.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like,
This is Hop on Pop by Dr.
Yeah.
Seuss. Just read that. It'd be a lot better for your brain. Oh, man. Yeah, again, it all brings back up to how, like, I feel like Friday the 13th as a whole is more respected, like, as a franchise. But then when you watch any of them, you're kind of like, what the fuck is this shit?
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of you and I are so used to like this type of movie now to where everything is so thoroughly thought through and streamlined because we're through like this age of like Marvel movies where they were planning the Avengers like years and years before the Avengers was even a thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so there's so much continuity, especially now. There's continuity between TV shows and movies, and then it all leads up to like one big finale at the end, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It is so obvious from the start that they had no idea what the fuck they were doing from beginning to end with Jason Voorhees as a franchise. No idea. And you know what? That's pretty cool, I guess. There's a little, like, punk rock element of just, like,
Right.
we'll make it up as we go the fuck along.
For sure. It
But
has
when
that
it's-
energy, which is great energy.
When it's 9 movies into it and things that got built up from the previous movie are just ignored and forgotten about, and the next one, it's kind of like, okay, there's no point in being invested then. Nothing's going to get paid off.
Okay. All right. But
Spoilers.
spoilers, although no matter what you can say about any of the Friday the 13th movies, there is one that I'm going to watch no matter what, just because I have to see it.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. Go on, though. Let them know.
Jason in Space, Jason X, whatever the hell it's
Jason
called.
X.
It's literally Friday the 13th in space because he's now in a space pod somehow, and that's what I'm here for.
We should have a whole episode dedicated to the in-space portions of these slashers, because there's like...
we should have a whole module dedicated.
Oh,
to
yeah,
them.
totally.
Yeah, like,
We'll start with like horror movies that are about space, and then end it on like slasher movies that take place in space.
yes,
Yes, that'd be
Leprechaun
the-
in space.
oh my-
That's a later time. That's a
Wait
later
till
time.
we get to Hellraiser in space.
Oh, there's Hellraiser in space.
Yes, dude.
Oh my gosh. All right. Like,
Can we just... It's gotta stop at some point, right? Can we just make it a law at some point? Just no more in-space horror films, please. I mean, like, horror films about space? Sure. But, like, we don't need Halloween in space.
just don't take the character in space.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you want to see The Conjuring on the USS Enterprise?
Okay, when you pitch it like that, it does sound pretty cool.
Write it down, Hollywood.
You're welcome for that one free idea.
Yeah.
The rest of them are going to cost you, though.
You're gonna need to pay up eventually.
One of these days. Is there anything that you want to say positively, though, about Friday the 13th?
I mean, it's cool that it happened.
There is that.
It's stories like this where no matter what the content actually consisted of, no matter what the shot, like this, the story of this being a thing is like, I mean, it deserves a movie like Michael Jordan's Shoes deserved a movie, like, and it deserves a disaster artist to The Room, you know.
Exactly.
We need a movie on how the original Friday the 13th got made and have that story come out, and then the fact that the franchise as a whole is killing it so hard, like I can't get mad at that.
I will double down on that. You are so correct. We need an entire fucking show. Not like a documentary, but like a show.
8 episodes. Miles Teller, come with us. You're gonna play the main guy.
You are going to play Sean Cunningham and Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we get like the whole fucking like show of just like how it became like a franchise, and then just kind of like the the odds and ends and how like
The-
how every single time somebody was like, I got a great idea for a slasher movie. How about like a dude Damas kills a bunch of people, and then somebody somewhere just comes up from a giant pile of cocaine and goes, "We gotta make it really fucking complicated and weird.
Send it right now.
Right
Send
now."
It. Yeah. All right. So, I mean, is there anything that you would like to say that's positive on this? Because it's kind of just shitting on it is all we can do.
The movie itself, I don't think is very good. It's hard to suggest, especially to people who are like, I tell them you should watch Friday the 13th, and they go, that's the one with the guy with the hockey mask in it, and they sit there the entire fucking time waiting for a dude with a hockey mask to show up.
And he's not there.
And he's just not there.
No.
So I can't suggest that movie to anybody nowadays. Not really. I mean, the special effects in this movie are pretty cool. Tom Savini, OG, he's the coolest.
Yeah, those were all believable, and like those kind of kills, like especially the kill when the dude was stuck on the door.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was pretty brutal,
Yeah. I like that. That's a death metal album cover. That's
reminds me, actually, the kid that played Jason at the very end is one of those guys who's like, like you meet somebody in high school who played football and they scored a touchdown once, and now they're 37 years old telling everybody about that touchdown.
yeah.
Yeah, that guy has a death metal band called First Jason.
Dude.
I'm not shitting you. And he like markets himself basically as like the very first Jason Voorhees, because he was, right? But he looks like Carrot Top, kind of. Anyways, I'll send you the album.
Does he wear a mask?
No, he doesn't. Because you know
'Cause
why?
he's the first Jason.
First Jason didn't wear one.
Didn't wear.
Neither did the second one. Spoilers.
Really?
Yeah, we didn't get the hockey mask until part 3.
Damn, I can't wait for the part 2 and 3 modules whenever we do this.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I should make that. That would be a great episode of just part 3s only.
Oh,
Yeah.
Skip 2s.
Skip
3s. Yeah.
Only
yeah.
part 3s. You're going to be so confused with Halloween 3.
Oh man. Well, I mean, all of these movies have that in common, which is cool for for the lot. And just to pick up the vibes a little bit more, you want to transition to our favorite, and I don't know your favorite, but I have my favorite, and I'm going to count to 3.
My favorite. Let's do that. Count to 3.
And
I
we're
will
gonna
tell
say it.
you my favorite, but also like I think the next one's not going to be my favorite, but we should call it the most important.
The most important.
Yeah.
Okay.
But all right, go ahead. Count it down for me.
3, 2, 1.
Nightmare
Halloween.
on Street. Oh, really? Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I like this.
All
I
right.
like this. So, which one do you want to talk about then?
Let's talk about Halloween, because that's one,
Go.
to me, it's not my favorite. It's definitely the most important. Especially out of these 3.
Yeah.
Like, these 2, like, Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th would not exist without Halloween.
Yeah. This one I fell in love with.
Good.
This one had I set down the phone for the whole movie, kind of just like let it play. I even like paused it a couple times.
Because it captures you.
It captures you.
Fucking first frame. The literal first frame. That POV of the kid putting the mask on. You're
Yeah.
already like, I'm scared. I am in danger just by watching this. Not just the characters that are on screen.
Right.
I might die from watching this.
I'm-
What's going to happen?
Oh, he goes straight for the knife drawer.
Yep.
And then just goes and immediately like lifelessly stabs his sister.
He sees his sister getting some dick, and he's like, I'm not going to let this happen.
No.
Yeah, you think the Bible says before marriage? No, it clearly states after.
After.
And you're never getting married, sister. Ah!
Yeah, it was a pretty brutal opening, but there's no better way to be like, let me see what happens next.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so after that intro, it's just a very, very silent murder of a POV of Michael Myers walking around, and then it cuts to October 1978, where it jumps right to it, which is what I like. This movie has no downtime. This movie,
Exactly.
and it doesn't need it. And there's also not a whole lot of character names that I remember, but that's more of a good thing because shit's happening and it's progressing the story. It's not like oh, hello, Mr. Blah, blah, blah. Cool, learn that name. Now what do you
Good
do?
to see
It's
you
like,
again, Mrs. Blah, blah, blah. Fine weather we're having here, aren't we? Oh,
Right.
boy, would love to open up the campsite later today.
hey,
Yeah, there's not like a wasted second in this film.
No. So, like, the movie really starts to get going, and it just drops with a nurse and a pediatric doctor that ask way too many questions. But they're talking about Michael and going to this like asylum to go just check him out and pick him up. And again, with the no fat in the movie whatsoever, he is already escaped and uses that car as he just like hops on it and like tears the people out. And then even though he's been in jail since he was 7 years old, knows how to drive a car immediately.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. This is before Forza,
Yeah,
so that's wildly impressive.
It's like flying a helicopter. If you just put it in the cockpit, you hit the switches on the top and then go.
Yeah, Jesus, take the wheel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's in God's hands now.
Yeah. And so it shows Jason like the very next scene is the very first scene. Jason kills his sister.
Jason?
Sorry, my bad.
There we go.
Michael.
Get it right. Okay.
Very first
We
scene,
have
Michael
a lot of street cred we're gonna lose here.
We do.
If you don't get this right.
Hey, you're the professor. I'm
This
the
is
idiot.
true.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Role reversal. Give me a pop quiz. Ask me to name 2 characters in this movie.
Okay. Name 2 characters in this movie.
Oh, easy. Fuck it. Oh, you see how there's no computers here? This isn't Google Glass, by the way. These are just glasses. This is real, all right? Nothing, right?
No.
Dr. Loomis, number 1. Guy fucking stole the entire movie. Dabbed on that shit. Number 2, Laurie fucking Strode, the most iconic final girl in all of horror ever.
Definitely.
Played by Jamie Lee Curtis.
Thank you, Jamie Lee. I mean,
For all you have done, we do love you.
yeah, including the Activia. You help settle the tummy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I eat that for breakfast every day.
In honor of Jamie.
Because of her.
Yeah.
You know why she was able to survive Michael Myers? He had tummy cramps when running towards her. She didn't.
No.
Because she took a fat shit that morning.
It's all about the probiotics,
It's all
man.
about gut health, bro.
Oh, man. But it's cool because the very next scene is when we actually get introduced to Laurie, and it's her and her little brother walking up to a haunted house, and it is the old Myers house, and it shows Laurie and her brother Tammy, and they of course go right up to the house just to keep everything moving, introduce new characters. How do we tie them in? Well, the house is on the walk to school, and we're gonna have them right there, and then there's that POV shot from inside the house, kind of looking out, seeing that, because it's Michael's only gonna know that spot.
Exactly.
So Michael's gonna go back, and it just right off the bat, that's where all the hairs go off in the back of my neck.
And like, I'll never forget the first time I saw this movie, to where from just that POV shot alone, the immediate feeling I could not shake off was the feeling of being watched.
Ooh.
It didn't matter if like Laurie was like walking with her friends on the street and it was like a wide shot. Even if you couldn't see Michael in it, it still felt that somebody was watching her.
Somebody which I right here on the notes I wrote, it's really hard to take notes about anything because I can't
Stop watching.
I can't stop watching. I had to pause it a couple of times because it just that tension felt the entire time.
And like it does so much with so little.
Yeah.
The iconic shot of just like we're seeing Laurie and her friends like walk up, and then there's that cut where it hard cuts to like the opposite, and for a very split second we see Michael right before he walks behind that bush.
Right.
And then there's that, no, I know I saw that. That's fucking freaky as hell. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it really goes to that like pretty inherent fear and the realism in this film too. Cause like this shit could happen to anybody really. I mean, you could just be the target of a crazed stalker one day.
There's a little bit of weird like magic that might come into play like later on in the movie, but as far as the intense parts goes, like it's nothing abnormal. It's a crazy person following you. That's it.
Yep.
Ugh. So in that walk, actually, the thing that really drove me was just how it was like a Where's Waldo for serial killers the entire time. Is he in the car? Is he in this bush? Like, where's he at? And I mean, thank God Jamie Lee Curtis is such a good actor because weren't her friends so annoying? Like the whole time I was trying to be cool and like have it be the banter, but then I was like, but Jamie Lee is queen.
She really is. Hopefully the rest of the people in that movie found work afterwards, but come on, we all know who the star really was.
Right. So as this kind of moves, you see Michael stalked the little brother back to school.
Yep.
And the little brother actually sees him, and you get to see his face for a little. Well, he sees his face. You can only really see his face if you Google it. It is in like a split second. I had to Google it just to make sure. The guy looks straight up like a folk punker.
Yeah.
Like, which is just as scary, man. You put some boots on him and cut a little mohawk.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing? But so that leans into a little bit of the play with everything that goes on. But it's Halloween night, and Jamie Lee Curtis is the good girl, so she watches all the kids, and all the other kids,
Degenerates,
go
to have premarital sex.
And as we know from the intro, Michael doesn't like that.
Does not like it at all.
Does not a fan.
No serial killer in any slasher likes that, actually. It's a no-no.
That's a good, weird point that I didn't notice until now, yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
All of them. If you fuck before you're married, you're gone. Virgins only.
I didn't know that horror movies were paid for by the church.
I think it was actually incels that came up with all this before incel was even really a thing. It was just a bunch of sexless nerds who were like, show that fucking bitch, I'll be a great screenwriter one day. And then she gets hacked to pieces by the guy in the mask who's really me. I mean Michael Myers.
Yeah. I mean, whose name is totally not Mike. And it's Well, so on Halloween night, that's when stuff starts to ramp up a little bit. And am I missing anything in the middle here? Because like legitimately in the notes, it's like I wrote a couple of long drone shots that I liked, and just.
Yeah, we get this subplot
like,
of Michael's doctor, Dr. Loomis, looking for him.
Oh, okay.
They find like a half-eaten dog in Michael Myers' house, which is pretty wild. I remember that one line of just like, he was hungry. Where they find that fucking dog that was like in the home, right? But it's also like another great example, too, of doing so much with so little. Because it's just two actors in a very empty house. I'm pretty sure they didn't have a permit for that home. They just broke in, started filming.
Didn't look like they had a permit for much.
Yeah, exactly. Broke in, started filming, and then just point to something off screen, and they're just like, oh, wow, that's so gross. Oh, my goodness. And then we, as the viewer, go, wow, that is fucked up. Wow.
Yeah. Without them having to show it.
Exactly.
Come on, shout out to Hitchcock. There you go.
Also Hitchcock, but I think Carpenter is his own master.
Yeah. No, he's definitely one of my all-time favorite directors. And do you know why? I'll go on into John Carpenter rant real quick, and that is he embodies my favorite types of art in the sense of this is a small group of people that have a very singular image, and they all are on board to make this thing happen. And the fact that John Carpenter not only writes it, directs it, I'm sure with help from other people that
of course,
I'll find on IMDb, but I didn't look up now, sorry. But also doing the music to it too. So he creates the whole feel and the classic theme song of the three of the most eerie notes of all time.
The way that was set up, it was either Carpenter or the producers who, when they saw a test screening of Halloween when it was originally cut, pardon me, they said it was the most boring movie ever made.
Really?
Yes. And so all Carpenter did was go back and add music to it. And that iconic theme, the piano song, he improvised that.
That's so
He
sick.
straight up just had the movie play and sat at his fucking piano and then just started hammering keys.
Oh. See, he's a genius.
He is a genius.
He is a genius. Listen. Thank you, John. Thank you for everything you did.
Everything that you do.
But it's that's captured in this movie too, where I think that lends into the idea of there's no fat in the movie. It is a perfectly lean cut. I don't understand why they would call it boring, even if there were no music. But the music does take it over and put it in that upper echelon. But yeah, I mean, it's because of that I was just wrapped up into it the whole time, and it was none of the murders were gross to where it took me out of it. The whole thing was just on. So jump back to Halloween night, and this is where it gets classically fun because you start to unveil a maze of horror, And so Jamie's over here with all the kids being the good angel, and then her friend's trying to get some, and has this really cool scene where she goes back out to like the shed or something, and then like back into the house, and Michael's just following her silently throughout the whole thing. And then there's a scene where he like finds a bed sheet and puts it over him and like walks into the room, and the lady thinks that it was her boyfriend like playing a prank on her, and this guy's just got the like his face pressed up to the sheet and everything. And I'm not gonna lie, that it didn't take me out of the movie, but I laughed like pretty hard because it's just the goofiest thing to see a guy like pooga pooga, but just the very stoic, here we are. But yeah, and then murder ensues.
It would be great if he like took the sheet off, reveals his masked face, and then he takes the mask off.
Yeah.
And there's another mask underneath that.
Yeah. Which, if you didn't know already, story behind the mask?
You even know this one.
I
Come
even know
on.
that.
All right, you
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
the story then. How about that? That's going to be your pop quiz. Tell me about the mask.
The mask,
And you're going to be graded on this.
it is a William Shatner mask that they painted white because I don't know why they did that.
I think
but-
that was pretty much all they could grab at the time, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know the budget here. I'll double check the budget again, but
$14.
probably. Oh, actually, this will be fun. Let's check out the budget for. Okay, estimated budget.
This episode sponsored by Monster.
Estimated budget $325,000. Let's see what Friday the 13th had.
I'm going to guess more. Price is Right rules. I'm going to guess 400,000.
Okay. It is 550.
Oh, okay. Well, you didn't even guess. You just cheated and looked it up.
I did. I'm sorry. Yeah, as soon as you asked.
You know
I
what? F. You're failing. You
So
just
far,
failed the
yeah.
pause quiz. Yeah.
Yeah. It's start of the year though. I'll take a couple Fs up front.
All right, sure.
You know, and then we'll kind of balance it out as
We
soon
got to
as
get
we
your
get to
GP up.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I like how our lives both dictate the amount of like love for art to do things like watch all these crazy movies and have a podcast and like want to go through the troubles of setting everything up to talk about it on the thing, and just like in both of our creative endeavors, like try and make this crazy thing happen that is like nearly, I mean, it's stupid on paper, but luckily it works, you know. And then yet our bodies are still powered by fucking $3 energy drinks that are just tearing our insides apart. It's just like,
Hey, man, intestinal lining grows back, okay?
yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I'm a
There we
health
go.
expert, okay? I know a lot about
You
gut
look like a
health.
health expert.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
Also, you have a podcast now, so you are a
I am
men's
a health expert,
Yeah.
okay? And if you want to restart your gut health, you need to drink 3 Monster Energy drinks a day,
That's a good idea.
at least a pack of Marlboro cigarettes
Reds,
every single day.
Blacks?
No filters.
no filters.
No filters.
Obviously.
Obviously, okay? Your grandparents had filters in their cigarettes. That's why they died of cancer. So, and at least 2 shower beers every morning.
That I have covered.
Yeah.
That, I mean, I've learned that when I was a kid.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
Same here
yeah.
from my parents,
Yeah.
watching them do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I need a ride to school again. You're gonna have to.
And you know what? My parents died of pancreas issues, so their guts were perfectly healthy. So I don't want to hear this bullshit about how, their alcoholism's what killed them. No.
No, it was liver failure.
Yeah, exactly.
Idiots.
Their guts were perfectly healthy, so what I'm saying is valid, dipshits.
Kombucha has alcohol in it, therefore alcohol is good.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're coming back, and we just talked about
What is
budgets.
this podcast about again?
Horror movies?
Horror movies?
Are
Oh,
we,
yeah.
Are we sure? Which ones
Welcome
again?
to the Drunk Driving Podcast.
Let's play how many beers can we fit in a big gulp.
That's going to be our new podcast. We get fucked up, and then we, like, find different cars and review them as we drive drunk.
Yeah.
And then it's, like, specifically for, can you get away with a DUI in this one car?
There is actually a total tangent, but there is worth looking up just for the sheer craziness of it.
All right.
But there's this dude, I forget his last name, but his name is Rob, and he's on YouTube, and he's like now a successful like car YouTuber, like killing it.
Dude, shout outs, Rob. We love
Shout
you,
out to Rob. Love you, Rob. Ferretti? That's maybe not right, but
Ferrari?
Ferrari. No, he's Floridian. Rob, Florida.
Rob,
Like
Florida.
that.
Okay.
But so this guy, at least how I noticed him was in the late 2000s, posted videos of him renting supercars and going as fast as possible and evading the police and seeing how long he can last. That's just how this.
GTA 5 style. If you just stay out of the circle, your wanted level goes down.
And he would post the videos of him like literally going in the like emergency lane on the freeway and like cutting through everything in this like $300,000 Ford GT. And I found the videos when I was like 9, and I was like, this is the coolest guy I've ever seen.
Coolest guy I've
Like,
ever seen.
Yeah,
I want to grow up to be just like him.
yeah, exactly. So the videos are still there. Look up Ford GT outruns police.
All right.
And then take a deep dive with Rob. He's a cool guy.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Hope he's doing good. You know, wherever you're at. Whatever state penitentiary you're in right now, we hope you're doing great.
The state Penny's in is just the entire state of Florida. So
Prison state at this point.
Yeah.
But at least they have luxurious sports cars you could drive.
That's what I'm saying. Listen, you win a little, you lose a little, and overall, he's still winning.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
he's
It's
still
all about trade-offs, right?
Yeah. But anyways, we're speaking about sports car money. We're talking about the budgets and how Friday the 13th had
It had 2 Ferraris for its budget.
2 Ferraris for his budget, where Halloween had like 1.25.
Right, yeah.
Which is and what Halloween did. That's how you know that Friday the 13th literally put it all up their nose.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's also like not even adjusted for inflation because it's 2 years. Shit gets a little crazy in 2 years. I understand, but not that crazy, and not to make it look worse.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the movie. What scene were we talking about?
He had put on a ghost outfit. And then she's like, "What's wrong? Cat got your ghost?" Or some really weird fucking line that does not make any sense at all.
What's wrong? You dead?
And then Michael Myers is just like, "Yeah, actually, I'm about to make you into a ghost, you dumb bitch." And then he stabbed her to death.
I'm sorry, just like with Michael having no words whatsoever.
Yeah.
Picturing that be his only word. It's kind of like when
His
Silent
only
Bob
line in the entire
Yeah.
entire franchise.
That'd make it so much better. But after that, how does he see Jamie Lee Curtis again? Is it like through the window, or is it like does he just know that they're all
I think
over
he
there?
just knows because she's in the house across the street from where those murders are occurring.
Right. And so, like, I mean, he's obviously got to kill again. It's not called Singular Killer. It's Serial Killer.
It's Serial Killer, yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be an awfully short movie. But the chase scene, I mean, I might as well have, like, shut the laptop down and just, like, turned off all the lights and just, like, had the eyes glued. Because the intensity from Michael and Jamie's, like, that's why Jamie Lee Curtis is where she's at now. That's why these movies are so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the entire movie worked, is because the apex of where the whole thing came, when it was just Michael slow stalking and, like, going through Jamie Lee Curtis's character, which it's Laurie, right? I keep on
Laurie
saying,
Strode.
Yeah. I'm gonna do the same thing with Johnny Depp in the next one.
It's fine, don't worry.
Yeah. But that slow balance build where it's not even like it's not. See, one of the reasons why I had never got into horror movies was just like the sheer like weird body horror, like the actual like torture or like anything like that. Like that always unsettled me from the start, and that was before I could see like the special effects in it too. And this has none of that.
Yeah.
And it is just on the edge of your seat. What the hell is going to happen?
How much blood is in this movie? Do you know?
I can't remember any.
0.
Zero blood.
0.
Honestly, that gets me excited.
And how like terrified did this movie make you feel?
Super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not about gore. It's not about like how good. I am a sick fuck. I do love that kind of stuff, right? Don't get me wrong, but you don't need it in order to make your movie terrifying.
Exactly. I mean, the real, truly terrifying things in this movie was when Laurie found herself in the closet, and then it was Michael just like punching through the loose wood, and then like trying, I'm gonna pick you up, I'm gonna grab,
I'm just gonna get you.
Yeah, and then he gets stabbed and thrown out the window, and
in
then
the fucking eye, dude. He gets taken out.
Just
and then like the movie like fakes you out so many times, and I loved it because like he gets stabbed in the eye. He falls onto the ground. Laurie's like trying to collect herself. She doesn't see it, but we do. Of when he just sits up.
Yeah.
And like nothing affected him, even though he just had an eyeball gouged out of his head.
Yeah, casual eye gouge.
Yeah.
That's
it happens to me at work all the time.
Yeah.
You just fight through the pain, go through it.
At this point, doesn't the detective or caretaker like Doesn't
He
kinda
like shows
catch
up,
on?
and he's not like there to be like, "Oh, I'm the doctor. I'm here to help." He's like, "I have a prescription to stop him. It's called bullets, and I'm gonna be the one to prescribe it to him personally."
Take 2 of
He
these with some
shows
hot
up with
tea.
a fucking piece,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I got the cure for your insanity right here." Boom, boom.
Out the window he goes. Lands on his back. Definitely broken back. I mean, come on. What are you going to do? And then most of the time, like, these tropes are, like, too much in horror movies. Like, I just roll my eye and just whatever. But when it cuts to him and you see him totally, like, lifeless, and then it kind of cuts back to Laurie, and then it cuts back to where he was, and it was just gone.
Gone.
No sign of anything. This movie deserves the 10 movies that it got after this.
Mm-hmm.
It was... That wrap-up was incredible.
Insane.
Yeah.
And it gave me this lingering feeling of like, what if Michael Myers is in my neighborhood?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Every Halloween. And it doesn't help that I also live in suburbia. So whenever I take my dog for a walk and the sun goes down, I'm definitely peeking between every hedge.
Because, yeah, you know, Michael Myers targeted dudes,
Well,
especially with gigantic pit bulls.
it's
Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say if I'm clean shaven, I look kind of like a chick.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Like-
in the right light. You
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
feminine, very ethereal and beautiful.
And
I agree.
A pit bull in Seattle does mean lesbian.
True.
So
Yeah.
that doesn't. It's not a good look on me, but I do feel safe. Like,
As it should be, because who knows when Michael Myers will pop out and come get you.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's because he's there. Not only did the other movies prove that, but just the very, very last bit of the movie when you hear is just haunted, like, which is crazy because he's not Darth Vader, and he never got injured, but he's always had that like to him, it's perfect. James Earl Jones can even do that.
I think he was the voice of Michael Myers, yeah.
Was he?
No.
See, that's a
Yeah,
global.
John
I
Carpenter
am. I
just
believed you.
broke into his home and like recorded him sleeping, and that was the sound that they used
Yeah.
for Michael Myers. Yeah,
Uncredited, but he's
Mhm.
there.
But he's there, yeah.
He is there. So yeah, that was my personal favorite. Also, I'm a huge Carpenter fanboy, and I saw like a lot of his stylings in other movies, like bleed into this one too, which is probably why I just like loved it so much. Also, and like the fact that it wasn't over the top, these are my favorite movies so far because I'm still adjusting to the intensity of horror movies.
Right.
Whereas this is a horror movie, but it also is more so a good movie.
Oh yeah.
Where there's so many that are just horror movies for horror movies, Friday the 13th. But this was just a good movie to be a good movie that happened to also be incredibly intense.
Well, that's the metric I like to judge all of these on. Of just not is this a good horror movie, but is it a good movie? And like all of my favorite ones, I feel like really hit that metric very well. Like I mainly only watch horror because that's the only thing I still find myself like really attracted to, right? But I'm not judging it on solely just, oh, is this scary? Is this going to terrify? It's all about like how good is this cinema-wise? And I would say that Halloween is pure cinema.
pure cinema.
Martin Scorsese fucking could never.
Yeah.
Ever. Christopher Nolan, idiot. Doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Why does he have two first names?
Yeah. If Oppenheimer doesn't have Oppenheimer coming back from the dead after getting stabbed in the eye, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good.
Exactly.
Am I going to see all 3.5 hours in IMAX? Yeah. I hate that I am, but yeah, I'm gonna do it.
That's weird because like that's actually what happened to Oppenheimer. Is he went insane and tried to kill the babysitters next to him. Yeah, crazy, right?
Crazy.
So that's probably how that movie's gonna end.
I am excited for the last hour of that movie now.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome. That's like,
So it's funny that that one's your favorite, right?
Yeah.
Because we'll get into why I think A Nightmare on Elm Street is like my favorite,
Mhm.
but it's undeniable the impact that Halloween had, not just on horror, but as on the movie industry. There is so much that like came back to that film, and I can name like 100 different movies that just would not exist if it wasn't for Halloween.
all right, start.
All 100?
Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Any Jamie Lee Curtis movie.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. Does she have 100 credits? There. I'm just gonna cheat.
There you go. I'm gonna look it up. Jamie Lee Curtis, IMDb,
Actress, specifically actress.
specific actress. 85.
Fuck.
You got 15 to go.
Okay. Friday the 13th.
Yep.
And I'm not going to cheat and name all of them, so it's just going to be those, okay?
Okay.
Friday
all
the
right.
13th, My Bloody Valentine. Actually, fuck. Look it up. What year did Halloween come out and what year did My Bloody Valentine come out? I'm such a fucking poser if I get this wrong. Oh, my God. April Fool's Day, but that counts because that's also a Jamie Lee Curtis movie. Shit. Okay, we're taking that one down.
1981, you're good.
I'm good. Okay, so My Bloody Valentine. I'm not going to use April Fool's Day because that is a Jamie Lee Curtis one, and we're not going to double count them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Okay. Fuck.
I put you on the spot. I apologize.
No, I got to do this now. Okay, I got 15 that I got to name. Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
My Bloody Valentine.
Mm-hmm.
Hellraiser. I'm going to argue with no slasher icons to help make that a thing. We would never get Hellraiser.
Yep.
Chucky for sure.
Chucky.
Yeah, Child's Play. I'm sorry. If you want to go by its scientific name. And a plethora of other slashers that were very popular because of it. So,
well, honestly, if you were to count every single movie that came after all of the ones that you listed, you would have 146.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, you're more than good. But
oh yeah, shit. That should have just been my number one answer. Halloween 2.
Yeah.
Shit. That movie would have never been made without the first one.
You had Halloween 3, Halloweener.
Yeah, the most Halloween.
The most Halloween.
As you'll see when I make you watch it when it has nothing to do with Michael Myers.
Again, these callbacks to having super well-known idols of horror and then just not using them. Well, I guess it wasn't a super well-known idol back when Friday the 13th started. But still.
It was a pretty interesting story because what John Carpenter wanted to do with that franchise is he was just tired of Michael Myers, the character. Okay. And wanted to then say, like, let's use Halloween as like a franchise to where it tells a different story that takes place on Halloween. So Halloween 3 came out. This is before the internet is a thing, so you could just easily directly communicate concepts to people instantly, right?
Yeah.
So you remember how fucking bummed out you were when you watched Friday the 13th the first time and there's no Jason Voorhees?
Yeah.
Imagine it being 1985 or whatever the hell that movie came out. And you're like, I can't wait to see a dude in a mask kill a whole bunch of people on Halloween. Let's fucking go. Where is he?
No sign of him whatsoever,
10 minutes left of the movie. What's going to happen?
Well, that sucks because that is a great, I mean, not just to be masturbatory over John Carpenter more, but that is a fantastic way to make a movie series.
Exactly, yeah.
Just have one day and have shenanigans always ensue on the 31st, because then you can do Halloween 1792. You can do Halloween 2103. Like, you
Halloween
can do
1792 would be so fucking cool because it would just be Halloween, but just like made like with fucking Amish people. Yeah.
Which is that actually The Witch?
I think so, yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but I hear it's good.
I'll make you watch it, don't worry.
Okay, good.
Where were we going in that one? We just kind of flew off the handle there, but that's fine.
That's
like
right.
It. It's raw
First episode, folks.
Exactly.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
I love you all. Thank you. You're all beautiful.
Love you too.
So, I guess we could just get into Nightmare on Elm Street then.
Yeah, I'm down. It was a very, very close second.
Was it your favorite, or your first time watching this movie, right?
First time. Yeah,
okay, cool.
And all three deserved a spot on the table, and this is only second because of how much Halloween was just one perfect fluid idea that was executed greatly. This was barely under Halloween, but because it was like, it brought the campiness, and it brought the weird, it brought the unexplainable. Like, even though there's technically no science in this movie, it felt kind of science fiction-y.
You don't need science for this shit.
No, it's all good. But so, great opening with this one. It starts us right off in the damp, gross boiler room, and it just shows a dude, Freddy, making the gloves, and he's kind of knocking them around, just, oh, what's gonna happen? And then he goes and stabs the lady, and the lady gets up immediately and right off the bat, you're like, what the hell is going on?
Exactly.
Like, I also, the first time watching this, I didn't know that all of this happened in dreams.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't even know, like, the concept of Freddy Krueger going into this?
No.
Whoa, okay.
No, not at all. I was just like, why is there so many kids going in boiler rooms? That's like the worst place for kids to go. But turns out it's just what happens when they dream.
Yeah.
So
You don't dream about boiler rooms every single time?
weed kills dreams.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
So I smoke a lot of weed so I don't go in the boiler room. And probably would have saved all of these people quite a lot of deaths.
That's true of sleeping and of ambition. Straight edge forever.
Straight edge.
Anyways.
I'm told.
That was what I was going to bring up. I mean, we were talking earlier about how, like, soulless Friday the 13th felt, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this one, there is just that soul immediately. I mean, like, you were talking earlier about how you love art where it's all these people coming together to create one different vision or, like, the same vision, right?
Yeah.
And not only is it everybody coming together to make this very distinct creative vision, it is so unbelievably different from everything that came out at that time. It's not just, here's a real guy going from door to door killing people. This is a fucking ghost that will come to you in your sleep and murder you when you are at your most defenseless. That concept alone is terrifying.
You get teleported to his realm every time you feel sleepy.
And then you're fucked. You're gone. You're dusted at that point.
Oh my gosh. But okay, what I did love in the very, very opening, just to just to bring on the campiness. I don't know when the last time you saw it was, but my new favorite, it's a new category that we're starting right now on the podcast. Best, worst horror movie runs. I mean, straight up goes to right in the middle. It's not Nancy. What's her name? Goodness. Tina, right? Tina.
Probably. I'll fail this pop quiz with you. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, let's name two characters from from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Johnny Depp.
Nancy.
That's two.
Who was the other one?
Johnny Depp.
Who?
Johnny Depp.
What's his character's name?
Fuck. Glenn.
Look me in the eye.
Glenn.
Yeah, I can't name any.
No, I can't. No.
Are you fucking joking?
So maybe we were a bit unfair on Friday the 13th.
A little bit, but you know what? Like, I can name how all those characters died at least.
That's true.
Yeah. Friday the 13th, how did that one character die? I don't know. They got stabbed.
I know Kevin Bacon got an arrow through the heart, but that's also more Kevin Bacon's fault.
Yeah, I know Johnny Depp, who's way hotter, got eaten by a bed.
Eaten by a bed.
Which was so fucking cool.
It was so cool. Buckets of blood. But yes, Tina will say, Tina's run in the opening when she's trying to run away from Freddy Krueger is my new favorite. I mean, like, she's like... Dude, it's a stroll is faster than her run that she's doing right now, and it's just all arm. Tom Cruise wasn't the star that he is now back then, but he's the best movie runner.
You know what? In defense of that, though, when was the last time you ran in a dream?
Okay, that's a good point.
Have you ever had a dream for where like you're trying to run but you can't move at all?
Yeah.
That is the worst feeling in the entire world.
That's true. Maybe we're just shitting on her acting when she was big brained.
She was playing 5D chess.
Oh man, I'm an ass.
I know. Yeah. You look her up. You should definitely write her an apology letter.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's definitely still alive.
Dear Amanda Wise, I hope that's your name. No, you're definitely not Marge. Yeah, it's Tina.
Tina. Yeah, Tina. My favorite character.
Yeah.
Dude, everybody knows Tina.
Yeah, Rod's girlfriend.
Yeah, Tina. Yeah.
Rod, that was the other one. How could I forget Rod?
How could you forget Rod?
Name. The Guido with the dick personality is named Rod.
Rod. Rod the Rod. That's what they called him because he was such a huge dick in the entire movie.
Such a huge dick. Probably has one too.
Don't you know the lore behind all these great characters that aren't named Nancy?
No, I haven't seen. I can't even think of a. Can't even think on a different street name to say the prequel to Elm Street. Nothing's funny.
Felm Street.
See, nothing's funny.
There you go. Gelm Street.
More like Mill Street.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, how funny was when Tina comes out of the dream and her mom comes in to check on her, and then her mom's boyfriend is just also the biggest fucking dirtbag and just like, come on, honey, let's go back to bed. It's like, no, my daughter's having a nightmare. And he's like, come on, honey. It's like, that actually explains Rod now that I think about it.
Yeah. It's probably Rod's dad.
That's actually.
It's like a whole subplot that they just don't really touch on, you know? It's like these two are like step siblings in a way, kind of.
I wonder what Wes Craven is into.
I mean, you'd have to ask him. Have you ever
we
seen
can-
The Hills Have Eyes?
No,
Oh,
I'm sure I will.
don't watch that with your wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good. But so yeah, that's the first like 5 minutes of the movie, and I'm gonna be a little bit more in depth with this one because this one was the most fun to take notes on because this, even though Halloween was my favorite, this was the most fun movie.
So that's another reason as to why this one is my favorite. Just from a pure filmmaking perspective, there is so much that goes on there that is a mix of amazing practical effects and just wonderfully original ideas and visuals as well. I like one of the very first shots of Freddy is he's completely silhouetted and he's in this alleyway. And like both of his hands look pretty like fucked up, and they have knives. And all of a sudden, they just fucking stretch
they
out
go-
like that.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
I wrote that down, having an amazing practical effect of just like broop, broop, broop,
Yeah.
broop, and kind of. But that's also that also why Freddy is such a good bad guy because his goofiness comes in immediately.
Immediately,
It's
like
just-
Robert
oh.
Englund's personality of bringing that character to life.
So good
So good.
because this guy is a monumental piece of shit.
Yes.
Like when we learn his backstory and we learn like what he did, it literally like the worst shit in the world is what this guy has done, and yet still he portrays the characters like almost like Jim Carrey.
A little bit,
You
yeah.
know, like just henna, like it's like I felt like I was watching
Somebody
The Mask
stop
go,
me from molesting these kids.
yeah, just you want to get a taste of these knife fingers? Like what the fuck, dude? But that I
And
mean,
he ends up becoming like a horror icon. Where like
right?
people love him, and it's like marketed towards kids, and it's like in the movies what he did to the kids, right?
Right. This is maybe not where we should rest our hats.
Mm-hmm.
But no,
Our fire stained fedoras.
right.
Yeah.
Firestein Fedora, band name Dibs.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's
Let's
a
make
good
that
name.
one. Fire,
Yeah.
You can stain with fire. I know how to talk.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very
I've
good.
been drinking pretty heavily today, so that's my
Between water and sugar-free Monster,
oh
dude.
my god, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
fucked up.
I've had so much caffeine
Give me
today.
my fucking
have to-
keys right now.
Dude.
Yeah.
Just because we talked about him a little off the top, we know Johnny Depp's in this movie. It's his first movie, if I'm not mistaken.
One of.
One
I'm
of,
not,
yeah.
I'm not too sure if it's his first
Maybe
ever, but definitely
It's first good
breakout.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. This dude's always been cool. This
Yeah.
dude, like from the very, very first. I mean, he's got the greaser thing down, and what's cool is he's not like the like the greasy asshole of the movie. Like that's Rod,
Right.
And we meet him early on, and no one really likes Rod, but Tina still fucks him, you know, and that's. I mean, we all understand.
We've all been there, Tina.
But so Tina has these nightmares and opens up to her friends, Nancy and Johnny Depp, and goes, "Hey, Nancy and Mr. Depp, I can't sleep at night, and I really need you to come and just like hang out and watch me to make sure that everything's all good. My parents are out of town, like just come sleep on the couch." And Nancy and Johnny Depp are great friends and go like, "Absolutely, dude.
Let's do it.
We'll do it." And then Rod invites himself over and then begins to have very loud sex with Tina while Nancy and Johnny Depp are just in the living room like, "Yep, we're here for her." We're here. Like,
Those are some pretty good friends, huh?
for real.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope to never be Tina, but I also hope to never be because they did this pre-Subway Surfers, like, oh, I'll pop on a movie, you know. I'll do that.
Yeah, there's no Netflix I could turn on to like help drown out the sound.
No. It's just
They're
plowing.
just there, like,
Does-
so should we turn on the AM radio so that way we can kind of drown out the sound of the springboards clapping?
I'm glad you mentioned AM radio because, like, right before Rod comes back into the scene, too, like, this is how much of a kind of a dork Johnny Depp was, too, back in the day. He, like, kills with, like, FM radio humor. It's the funniest thing. It is because he's calling his mom to say, like, "Oh, I gotta go. I gotta crash here for school projects or whatever." And it's just playing all these, like, radio bebops over it. And, like, it's crushing with the babes. And he's like, it honestly, it's cool and refreshing to see Johnny Depp in, like, such an early role like that to, like, before he's brushing elbows with Joe Perry and Alice Cooper, you
Right.
know? It's like he was still kind of a dork. But Yeah, so that's the scene. We have Johnny Depp and Nancy being good friends, and we have Tina, being a teenager.
Gotta go because she's getting dicked down.
Yeah, I
We
guess
just can't have this happen.
Yeah, and then Rod is doing the thing, and then in the dream, Freddy comes after Tina in the dream, and it is great special effects.
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, great special effects when she like levitates out of the bed, right, and like gets stuck. Do you know how they shot that? Was it like Rod was upside down and then
no,
she
they
was...
took like a really high powered nail gun and just shot her into the ceiling.
I mean, honestly, the effects look that good.
Yeah,
like
I think she actually got possessed by a demon and was dragged around the entire.
It would
wall.
have, because it was both like scary and like looked real, but also like had that tinge of goofiness that I like that, because there was a second where she was just like moving around like crazy, where it's just like, man, this is just Freddy having fun, And then there's an immediate halt, and a cartoonish splat with like a mass amount of blood.
Yep.
And then Rod, being the crass, immature Guido that we love, dude. Rod just goes, "Who did this? Whoever did this, I'll kill you." Meanwhile, there's no one in the room besides like a dead Nancy and then a Freddy who's back into the thing. And he's just, what's going on? Which, to be fair, yeah, I don't know what I would do either. But it is just the quintessential Guido to just, "Where are you, ghost?
I'm gonna fight you."
Get you." Like, what are you doing?
Can you imagine just walking in and seeing like your friend exploded against the wall and her boyfriend covered in blood, and he's like, "No, there was a ghost."
I swear to you,
I
he was
swear,
right over
he
here.
was right over there. She was screaming, hollering, and then she just exploded. I swear to God.
I was eating the gabagool, and then he gave me the
eating
gabagool.
spaghetti. She became the spaghetti. It was crazy.
It was. She turned into meat sauce. I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do.
Didn't
And
have any
she's,
known as bread. I didn't
cutting
know.
the ribbons. I
Like-
have the garlic bread right here. It looked kind of tasty. I have made the girlfriend pasta.
I mean, he was such a douchebag, but like, I loved him. Like that was the thing. I understand Tina.
We love Tina. I don't get why I kind of do, but I love how in horror movies, right, it's always just the worst support systems possible.
Yeah.
It's parents don't believe in their kids. It's boyfriends not believing their partners.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, Mom, Dad, I'm having these insane nightmares where I feel like my life is in danger. You're just crazy, sweetie. Your mother's the same way. She's always going on and on.
Just, she talking about what dude, and this movie specifically with, oh my God, Nancy's parents.
God, they're the worst.
Just drive a fucking nail in my skull, dude. What are we doing?
Why do
Like,
you even have kids
like-
if you refuse to raise them?
At all? Okay, but it is the next scene, and it is the parents. So I gotta say, John Saxon as Lieutenant Thompson, perfectly cast, dude.
Mm-hmm.
The cop dad in that movie looks the part, acts the part. He is such a good actor. Like, from the moment he stepped on stage, I looked him up immediately because I was like, who is this man? This guy, this dude, he is the guy.
Is this a real cop?
Yeah, right. And so it's Nancy and her mom Marge at the police station, and we find out that Lieutenant Thompson is it's not estranged. I guess it would just be like ex-husband and like dad. And after watching Nancy and Marge kind of bicker on, I could see why John needed a little break. Or sorry, Lieutenant Thompson needed a little break. It's like, but he's a smart guy, because after everything was dismissed, he follows his daughter around knowing that Rod is gonna like
Try
find
something.
him. Yeah, and nails it. Absolutely correct. We don't know that he was following her. We just see Nancy get pulled into some bushes by Rod, and then out of nowhere, just boom, tons of cops immediately. Like, this guy knew. He's like, I mean, he's probably been on the force for like 67 years, so he understands exactly what's going on. But that was a nice kind of flow to the movie, to have like no mystery in like what happened to Rod. It's just like, oh, this guy probably did it. Where is he? He's here. He's right here, actually. Like, it's fine.
He's probably coming after my daughter next, so let's get him.
Yeah. So Nancy's obviously a little shaken up with everything going on, and decides to do what anyone does in that situation and go back to school.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you? Granted, she fights for it, and her alcoholic mother fights to not, but, hasn't put the bars over the window yet.
Exactly, yeah.
So Nancy gets to go, but Nancy falls asleep in class. Which,
As you do.
as we learned in the morning, well, not only falls asleep just for it being school, but there's a big dummy reading Shakespeare. So, of course, she's gonna check out real quick. But this is where some of the practical, crazy, gross effects happen. Where it's nothing groundbreaking, but it's 100% believable everywhere. Because then we see Tina in a body bag, just covered in blood, wanting to play fucking hide and seek with Nancy and the thing. That stopped me in my tracks, dude.
Tell me what's going through your mind the first time you saw that.
I mean, I knew there's gonna be the weird ghosts, almost science fiction element, through this dimension dream bouncing or whatever. But I really like the way that they use Tina as just a thing of Freddy's not here yet, but do you know who is?
Yeah.
What's going on? And yeah.
Which adds to it, because spoilers, right? It turns out that in order to die of Freddy, you have to believe in him, right? And so it's a perfect setup. Well, especially looking back on this movie too, it was such a great setup because maybe the kids don't believe in Freddy, but if their friend dies and it's their friend coming to scare them, they're definitely going to believe in that, and that's what lends to his power.
I did not pick up on that. That's awesome.
It's just an interpretation.
Well,
Yeah, it's not really a set in stone kind of thing, but you know what I mean.
Do you have Wes's phone number?
Huh?
Do you have Wes's phone number?
He's dead. He's been dead for a very long time.
Do you have a Ouija board?
I do, yeah. I have one tattooed on my back. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
What I did like when Nancy saw Tina was she kind of runs out and does the worst thing you could ever do in a high school, which is wake up screaming in the middle of class.
Yeah.
Gather up all of her things while panting, I'm really okay. I'm okay. I'm really okay. I'm really okay. It's
Trust me, if you want somebody to know that you're okay, you just got to reassure them all the time.
I
You
mean,
just keep telling them.
I now know where My Chemical Romance got the song ideas.
Exactly,
I'm
yeah.
not okay because they're she's probably not okay.
And so am I.
And so am I. Shout out to Gerald. Right.
Shout out to Gerald,
Yeah,
friend
yeah.
of the podcast.
Yeah, obviously. He'll watch this. Nice little touch that I see throughout the movie is the hall monitor.
Yeah.
I noticed right off the bat that it was Freddy's colored jacket and everything. That was such a cool little take. Oh, I guess before that happens too, seeing Tina get dragged away by nothing. That practical special effect too, just with the blood curling down the whole.
God, it's so good. Wes Craven is a genius.
This is where they definitely blended the lines of what's reality and what's not.
fantasy, yeah.
Yeah, because she didn't wake up again after this part, so she must be lucid dream or daydream. I don't even know what you
We're
would
just crazy at that point.
Yeah, I mean
it blends the fabric of reality so well that even you are questioning the whole time of just what is really going on.
right. And so she goes to the school's boiler room, which thank God that the Tower of Terror is no longer the Tower of Terror. You ever been to Disneyland?
Oh yeah.
Dude, the old Tower of Terror was just the boiler room from I'm so glad that I saw this movie after going there, or else I would have intense claustrophobia.
Oh,
in that
no.
thing. Dude, 100%. So I'm sure
That's how the ride is. You go into that boiler room, and then Freddy Krueger comes out and actually kills you.
Yeah. I mean, if they ever need a filler, I'm sure Disney can afford buying Freddy Krueger along with the rest of Marvel. So
Oh, yeah, true.
that's when they get a little edgy, you know.
That's when they finally decide it's okay to have R-rated movies again.
Yeah, yeah. But Nancy's smart. She's down in the boiler room, finds Freddy. She's getting a little chased, and Nancy just decides to burn herself awake, which works. She's genius.
She's smart.
Yeah, I would have died 100% right then and there, but no.
That's because you don't have the big brain like Nancy.
that is
5D chess, I am telling you.
right. Which actually, looking back at my notes, I said it out of order. after she burns herself, she wakes up in class, and that's when she says, I'm not okay, I'm not okay.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh,
right.
who cares?
Fuck, man, we jumping out, doing whatever, but...
How dare we have mistakes on our first podcast? What the fuck?
When is the first time you watched this movie?
God, I don't remember how old I was. I had to be like... It was one of those movies that came on cable, so I would just watch it from there, and I had to be like 11 or 12 years old.
Wow. Well, I mean, back in cable, did it cut any of the...
I cut down on the blood a little bit, yeah.
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 Probably a shorter Johnny Depp death scene.
A little bit,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think, I distinctly remember him going into the bed, and then it cut to commercial.
Now, at that point in your, like, completely free-range internet childhood that you had, did this movie ever get to you?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay.
I mean, not just the movie, right? Because it was the concept alone of being able to get killed in your sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
some dude's gonna come to you and like get you in your sleep, and like there was seeing it as a movie, and seeing it as a kid, and only getting like the very surface level basic concept of what the movie was about, right? Versus graduating from film school and then like being able to like really see it and analyze it, and not only like analyze but know like, okay, that's probably how they pulled this effect off. And seeing it from that perspective afterwards, it turned it off. I was like, God damn, that movie is great. I'm going to take some caffeine pills right now. I'm not
Dude.
going to bed tonight.
Some extra strength stay awakes.
Yes, exactly.
Something that I literally looked that up because I was like, please be real.
Mhm.
And so far in my 60-second Google search, have not found anything.
They probably went out of business.
I mean,
at one point.
them and the Quaaludes, man.
Exactly.
When will we ever
We got to
get
have
them?
the fucking Quaaludes.
Yeah.
The kid from Brooklyn here, man. Bring back the Quaaludes.
I mean, I've heard a lot of people talk shit on the 80s, but the fact that Friday the 13th made a shitload of money from a guy that didn't have a script, you had Quaaludes, and you had tons of speed everywhere.
Everywhere.
I mean, like, was this not the best decade to be awake in? Like,
It was pretty okay.
yeah. I mean, the cars were slow and the music kind of sucked, but
And like, I have next day delivery on Amazon. I'm not going back to that ever.
that is a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've panic bought lots of stuff that I need thanks to Amazon. I guess that's a ding now that I think about it. But anyways.
Yeah, but you got it the next day, so that's all that matters.
Right. Well, for right after this, we have a meetup with Rod again.
I do want to answer
go
your
ahead.
question for real too. Of like, did it get to me?
Yeah.
It got to me as a kid from not just like seeing people die in a movie and thinking it's real, but like the concept of like you could fall asleep in it and die, right? And it was way later on seeing it as an adult where there was so much more of it. I don't know if it was intentional or not, that really did like terrify me. We brought up before of how like your support system just not being there for you.
Not believing you at all.
Not believing you at all. And like that concept too of like, I'm trying to tell you something that really happened to me, and like nobody either believes or cares.
No one.
No one. And like that is fucking terrifying on its own.
Not only that, but spoiler alert, jumping ahead a little bit, but the amount that Nancy's mom goes to deny
Exactly
what she's thinking after, like, and then admitting to knowing like who Freddy is, and like no, it's okay, I killed him, it's all good, but like knowing the whole situation and her not having the knowledge, it's like how is she not freaking out more? But also she's a hide the bottle alcoholic, so
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
Worst kind of alcoholic too. It's definitely not a fun one if she's hiding the bottle.
You gotta hide it somewhere, especially when you get pulled over.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, duh.
Start from cups, dude.
I'm just gonna put it between my legs like it's no big deal. No, come on. In the glove box
Okay, all
with
right.
the rest of my spilled beer.
When you put it that way, I can't argue.
Exactly.
That's it. like, but that is because like now, the movie didn't necessarily get to me from what I have now. There was a lot of really cool intense moments where like it was I was yelling at the TV. Yeah, I was angry.
Wake
at some
up,
of the
you
characters.
dumb bitch! Get up!
Literally, and just some of those drawn out. Like, I mean, now I'll probably look at it different now on the rewatch. Having you say like, how hard is it to run in a dream? That makes sense. People dreamed before too. I'm sure they like wrote that in. But yeah. I mean, Halloween was more of the shut the lights off and then run up the stairs. But this one definitely like stuck with me a little bit, where it was like with the mind wandering off at night. I'm like, oh, let's let's put South Park on a little louder.
You
know?
can run away from Jason, and you can hide from Michael Myers, but Freddy Krueger comes to you in your sleep, somehow knows all of your fucking deepest insecurities, uses them against you, and then kills you horribly.
Horribly.
Yeah.
That's all doing it dressed like Mr.
Like a
Rogers.
pedophile? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Mr. Rogers is a pedophile? That's a
I would
crazy
not
take,
be
Joe.
surprised at this point, honestly, with the amount of people of just like who have been, like the allegations come up and then you learn what a piece of shit they really are. If like a whole bunch of kids just kind of came out, allegedly, not really, don't fucking sue me over this. If they just came out and were like, yeah, actually, I worked on that set and it was some things happened to me.
Yeah, the guy was almost as
From
good as a
Mr.
diddler
Rogers.
as he was a sniper.
Just kidding, don't sue me.
Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, I've gotten so cynical and bitter about all that shit. It's like at this point, it's like literally anybody, whatever I hear about that, I'm like, oh, fucking course. Yeah, no, it makes sense. Totally.
Yeah. I started off life way too gullible to have the climate be where it is today.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, you know what? I play guitar and I watch movies and they're like, what do you think about this? I'm like, I don't. But anyways, so Nancy devises her first plan right after this, which in very cool, like classic movie fashion, Johnny Depp has a perfect climb right up to her window of just like ultimate lovebirds. And like, I want Johnny Depp to come climb into my window. I don't care if he's right now smelling like wine and cloves, dude. Like, come on.
Let's just come on over.
Come on, dude. We don't have to do
Window's
anything
open.
weird. Yeah, I got a bunch of guitars. Like, you just come hang
We
out.
could just hang out. We don't even have to kiss. No pressure.
Nope.
No?
No. Some pressure. But
Maybe a little.
how many bottles of wine? But anyways, so Johnny Depp comes and climbs in the window, and this is where Nancy devises her first plan. But before I share the plan, this is the first time that I felt extremely old in my life, because there's a line where Nancy goes, she looks into the mirror after being awake for a while and going through all this crazy shit, and she's like, "Oh God, I look 20 years old." Like, I know they're teenagers, and I know she might be, like, 20 in real life as the time happened.
Oh, no. Here's why you shouldn't feel bad about that, okay?
Huh.
They're not just teenagers. These are teenagers written by a 45-year-old man.
Wes Craven was 45 when he made this?
Probably older. He was probably
Damn.
450 when he
Yeah.
made this.
I did.
But the thing is just don't feel bad about that, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
Like, we were talking about, like, the other characters in Halloween, right? And how they were kind of, like, annoying.
Yeah.
Again, it's not really teenage girls that are annoying. This is what a 53-year-old man
Right.
who's writing teenage girls thinks they talk.
Dude, you nailed it.
45? He was 45 when he made that movie?
43.
450 years
He was
old?
450 years old. No, 45.
Wes
He was 45.
Nosferatu Craven himself made that movie.
Wes Nosferatu. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not actually dead. He's coming back as the remake.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Did you see they're remaking that movie?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the director of that, so I'm kind of excited for it.
Who's directing it?
He's the guy who did The Witch, I think.
Yeah.
He was The Witch of the Lighthouse, the guy whose name I totally forget.
It was definitely the dude with the lighthouse. I
Yeah,
saw
with the
that.
lighthouse, and like
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy's gonna be in that one. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm seeing that one. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Let's go together.
We should.
Yeah.
You wanna go see Barbie together?
Yeah.
Same.
I do.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
It looks so good.
It'd be a nice breath of fresh air. We'll get Texas Chainsaw Massacre out, and
Dude,
then
have you
watch.
seen like the new trailers for that movie?
I've actually conveniently stayed away from all of the trailers.
Okay.
I've seen the character posters, but that's it.
I don't want to spoil it for you, I guess. But
Honestly, if we go together, I will stay away from everything that movie has to offer.
All right,
and just
fine.
go in blind with you.
go
And then
in
we'll
blind
do
with me. You'll think it is a nice, refreshing breath of air from all these horror movies, and then you will be in for a pleasant surprise.
sick. Yeah. And then we'll do a Barbie episode.
Hell yes, we should.
Oh
How
man.
do you feel about existential dread? How do you deal with that kind of thing?
Pot.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in Barbie, the way that she deals with it is...
Yeah. Oh no. Is it like Oh no. No spoilers. That's what.
Go watch the new trailer. It's so good.
Okay. Well. But where's the thing? Fuck. Where did it go?
My
Okay.
favorite shot in this movie is one that will stick with me and is one of those that I can look back and go, I want to make movies because of the first time I saw this.
Oh yeah.
when one of the characters, I forget who, and we're going totally out of order, but who cares?
It doesn't matter.
One of
First
them
episode.
sleeping in the
Thanks for
bed,
listening.
right? And then all of a sudden, this face just comes through the wall,
Oh,
and all of Freddy's body is stretching through that
yeah,
wall.
yeah. It turned it into some like weird plastic latex kind of
Yes.
deal, dude. That was like sexy and terrifying.
Yes.
Like I can link that to like modern art of how shit like that flies now. Like that, yeah. That I stopped it and just Googled some random
Latex porn.
later. That
Later,
was
yeah.
after the movie. But before, I still was just like looking through modern art just to see if there's anything that I could like directly piece back to this, because it totally looked like something that deserved to be in a museum, or like or if it was on a wall, it would be like some crazy theater piece of some lady
It
throwing
really did
blood
look
at
like,
it.
yeah, he was like a painting coming to life. Coming
looks
through
so
that.
cool.
It looks so fucking good.
Yeah. Which budget check? You have a guess?
850,000.
I'm not looking at it yet. I'm gonna go. This is
No, look me in the eye. What's your guess? 850,000, higher or lower?
666,000.
Give me a real answer. We're gonna do this Price is Right rules, okay?
I'll go
Loser
million
buys
on the
home
dot.
on the dinner.
$1 million.
Million?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, $1 million.
Jimmy, look at me in the eye. I'm just gonna buy us dinner no matter what, okay?
Okay.
Okay, cool.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. I'm getting a bit famished.
Podcast and stuff's hard work, okay?
I know, dude.
All right, I was a coal miner most of my life.
We're both right.
$1,850,000.
800,000, but yeah, $1.8 million.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. yeah. That is larger than I would have imagined, but also
It's actually not surprising with how good the effects are.
I was gonna say, like there were some things that looked really expensive. Like I'm sure that wall shot was not cheap. Yeah, not cheap. And even though his body was completely silhouetted, when he did do the thing, like with the long arms, like that could not have been cheap, because this was Yeah, this is definitely pre Jurassic Park. Like,
Yeah.
that was not like easy to use animatronics that they just happened to have. Like whatever they did probably worked. Do you know what they did? Did you learn that in film school?
Yeah, Robert Englund is actually part rubber. And so he was able to just like his father's actually Stretch Armstrong.
That explains the latex porn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There had to have been at least one like couple, right, on a date going to see Nightmare on Elm Street the first time. And then as he's stretching through the wall, could you imagine like the girl's like curled up all terrified and the dude's sitting there like trying to hide his heart on?
He's like, oh, goddamn.
Wait a sec, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Why am I into this?
Yeah.
What?
For Daddy Krueger?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, we all got our things.
And then the drive home, she's like, "That movie was so scary. Could you believe it?" And he's like, "Yeah, so you know the wall scene? What if we like reenact that like sometime, just like the two of us?"
How do you feel about being put into a balloon? Oh my god. All right, so Nancy's original plan.
Oh yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
Not just fetish porn.
So she downs a lot of fast acting stay awakes and goes for a nice stroll for the spooky part of town. And Nancy goes to check on Rod and finds Krueger and his magic tricks just trying to fuck with him while he's asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so he freaks out and she's yelling for Johnny Depp and it's causing this huge scene. And Freddy Krueger comes out from the shadows, says a little booga booga.
Ooga booga.
And then I believe that's where the Stretch Armstrong comes in too.
I
Like,
think
that's
so,
where-
yeah.
Yeah. But Johnny Depp is nowhere to be found, even though he was given the direct orders to follow and watch. And he's probably out having a clove with Joe Perry.
Probably.
But because that's what he does. And so she runs back into the room, and this is real time when I realized, oh right, this is not her awake, this is her dreaming, and is like flailing, and then like she wakes up, and then everything is okay again. And we didn't even hear the first plan, but she just said, "Here's my plan, you wake me up," and he fell asleep because probably too many doubles of wine or whatever
Probably,
Johnny's
yeah.
into. Yeah.
That kid didn't even need a fake ID to buy booze.
No.
They just believed he was over 21.
They just believed he was cool as shit, and they were right.
Yeah, even if you are 15, dude, you want some cigarettes?
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, you look awesome. You look like the devil.
Oh my God, you look like you're gonna form a band with Alice Cooper later in
yeah.
life. Yeah, like you look like you're gonna get a commercial for some type of men's fragrance, and you're gonna play Wild Thing like it's the hardest thing ever on guitar. And have you seen this?
No, I have
Oh
not.
my God.
You couldn't pay me to watch that either. Don't send those to me.
Les Sauvages.
Oh no.
Come
Oh,
on, it's
God.
him playing guitar in the desert with wolves. Cause
And he's playing Wild Thing, you said?
Wild Thing.
That's like one of the hardest chords to ever.
3 of the hardest chords that ever graced music.
Yeah, wow.
I know. It's probably like
He's a pro guitar player, that Johnny Depp.
C, D, and E probably.
Yeah.
Like, I actually don't know. I'll learn that for the pod. Anyways, oh yeah, something we haven't even talked about for any of these movies. Well, I guess we touched on music a little bit, but how cool is the synth soundtrack in this one?
So fucking good.
Because whenever Freddy like really starts, it's almost like Looney Tunesy,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like it's the complete opposite of the like. Instead, it's like, who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, just
Freddy
Freddy.
Krueger.
like. But so after that whole night, Johnny Depp and Nancy, they go to check in on Rod after the nightmare, and we're unfortunately seconds behind catching up with Freddy Krueger, who tied him to bed sheets
Yeah.
and hangs him. And of course, all would have been solved if these cops and Nancy's dad would have been like, it's weird that they're here this late at night. Let's go check on their friend who we're also detaining. But like instead, like drag their feet to be like, no, it's totally fine. Don't worry. And the kids are like, I promise you, he's not though. Can we do? And then no.
I want to know how intentional it was, because I feel like it does kind of speak a little bit on like the generational gap at that time, right?
Oh yeah.
And how like, go ahead.
What would the dad be a part of the Greatest Generation or be a boomer? Might be a boomer.
He really seemed like the type that would like
but he
avoid the draft to get out of World War II, but then became a cop just so he could bully people. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, because I mean, especially with dads in the '80s, you had no idea if they were 40 or 70.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they just and they smoked and had the same haircut and the same tone of voice and everything, and so yeah, that 30 years like meant a lot. But either way, you're totally right, because like that's, I mean, if we're going in the early '80s. With everything is the way, like that's just right about when women were being taken seriously.
Yeah,
like as a not as a whole, but I mean especially in pop culture too. Yeah. So
I do kind of wonder how intentional that was. If it was written that way as like the parents are trying their hardest to keep this whole Freddy Krueger situation covered up. They don't want the kids to know what really happened. They obviously, like, these older people aren't going to believe the younger generation because the older people think they know better, but really they're letting their kids die.
right.
Or was Wes Craven just kind of sitting at his typewriter like, they just don't believe him.
Yeah.
Move on to the next scene.
Then no.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah. We get another bitchy shot of the Thompsons girl in the car, but oh, sorry. Too far. When Rod dies, it cuts to the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, is Rod's dad not the Elvis impersonator that you want him to be? Do you remember Rod's dad?
I think so, yeah.
Dude, he just is the classic, totally dyed black hair, like has the mean eyes over.
Still
to
doing the
lady.
Elvis voice and just like, oh, I wish my son was still alive.
Dude, and Rod makes so much sense after this. Like he's
Can you imagine having that as a dad and not being an asshole?
you kind of have to be.
You kind of have to be, yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Repent? No.
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 Become a better person? No.
Well,
People like that don't have good kids. They have traumatized children that go on to traumatize everyone else around them.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when another bitchy shot of the Thompson girls and Lieutenant Thompson happen, where the mom at least shows a little bit of initiative and goes like, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm getting some professionals, and she goes to a sleep study where her daughter gets hooked up, obviously, to earthquake seismometer or seismometer,
totally,
whatever
yeah.
it is. Like that's not
To detect all the earthquakes going on in her sleep. Yeah.
right,
Yeah, totally.
right, exactly. And then she feels safe enough to fall asleep, does the thing, Freddy again, and this time she comes out with some cuts in Freddy's hat. And this is all not enough for the mom to believe her. I have no idea why, but it's just so annoying. And side note on the mom, Marge too. On the rewatch, see if there's a little bit of a like Rachel Dolezal thing going on, because there is some massive tans that happen out of nowhere, and then there's some massive non-tans that happen again, and it's not just a Caribbean Vacation.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like
maybe this was filmed like 4 summers apart from each other. You know what I mean?
I hope so, because it was certainly a thought where I think it was the funeral scene or the one right after where I looked up and I was like, she looks familiar. Who is that? And I was like, oh yeah, it was only Rachel Dolezal.
Okay, Mr. Anderson, we love your movie. We have some notes. Can we cut out the subplot where the mom has a crisis and tries to tan her skin really black because she wants to pretend to be a black woman?
Yeah, yeah. Can we cut the subplot of her running for the NAACP chapter of the Northwest? That would be great.
Oh man, that brought back so many memories for Rachel. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Can't believe it was her parents that snitched out on her like that too. That is iconic news footage, dude. Of just people straight up asking her like, "Hey, so you're like kind of pretending to do this," and she's like, "What? What? No, totally not." That is my like new. I'm gonna tell people that was an actual like removed subplot of the series now.
I mean, you should.
Yeah.
I mean, you absolutely
It's there.
should.
I think you're onto something with this.
Yeah, I mean, I'll check again and we'll post some pictures, but that's about it.
I think it actually was Rachel Dolezal that played her. Now that I think about it, yeah.
Oh, I mean, she'd age great if that's the case. Yeah.
I was gonna say black don't crack, but.
Oh my god, that
But,
knocked the hat off. Oh my god.
No, that's staying in. That's the litmus test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, of course, just like the horror movie plot should be, the mom goes back to not believing it. But makes sense because now she gets real ugly with the bottle hiding alcoholism and the bottles of vodka everywhere.
Everywhere.
Which, why is she even hiding it when she's just that drunk all the time?
Oh,
literally? Like,
you know
just
what?
like-
It's not a Rachel Dolezal thing. She just has jaundice.
Oh,
Yeah.
just the most yellow eyes
Yeah,
you've
her
ever
skin
seen.
is like her kidneys are failed at that point, so her skin
yeah.
is just getting more and more bleached as it goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it that way. Of course. But so after kind of meaningless interactions that go on for like 10, 15 minutes, the mom finally admits to knowing about Freddy Krueger, and it adds a little bit of a suspense to the plot, but still will go into no detail about him yet. So Nancy runs away, grabs a burger with Johnny Depp. I would also like to get a burger with Johnny Depp.
Same.
Just
He
throwing
seems
that
like
out
a
there.
nice fellow.
Manifesting a lot. He's been through a lot, but I'm still a fan. But Nancy comes home after the burg. Whole house boarded up, bars over the windows, big ass locks, and mom is drunk as hell and decides to spill the beans and goes into detail with how Freddy murdered at least 20 kids and somehow didn't get arrested due to lack of proper paperwork. And so Marge and a few other parents burned him alive inside of a boiler room.
As you would do with your town pedo.
Yeah. I mean, like, great. I would have chose a less scary place to burn him if I had known that he's going to bring the kids back to wherever they burn. So maybe, like, burn him alive in a nice field or something with places to get
McDonald's
out.
play
Like,
pace.
that's
Actually, that's worse. Yeah,
Yeah,
because they
it's
would
way
have
worse.
no way to.
Like-
That'd be terrible because they get trapped in that and they can't go anywhere. Fuck, never mind. Okay, yeah.
Imagine the shot of the ball pit with just the knife hand coming out of the
Hand
ball
coming
pit.
out,
Yeah.
grabbing him, and she goes to run, but she gets trapped in those tubes, right? That you have to run through, and the tubes just get like smaller and smaller as she goes on until eventually she just gets like sandwiched in them.
Like those terrifying rock climbing videos of the dudes that
Yeah.
just like go and like push. Oh, I can't watch those. I can't. I do, but
Well,
I can't
imagine
watch
that,
those.
but it's a McDonald's play place.
Yeah.
And then Freddy Krueger shows up, and he's got like all these balls and everything in his hands, right? And he's like, "Oh, open wide, bitch! Heard you like McDonald's," and just starts force feeding her like all the balls while she's trapped.
Oh no! And the worst part is that they all taste like Big Mac sauce, but only Big Mac sauce, nothing else.
And kid farts from all
And
the kids that shit and piss in that fucking thing. Can you imagine? We gotta make this. This is our new Freddy Krueger pitch. Hell yes.
I mean, with the amount of movies that have been out so far, is there a Freddy Krueger in space?
No, but there should be.
Well, we can fix that by doing Freddy versus Jason versus Alien versus Predator, which is now the movie that I want to see made more than anything.
Versus Ash.
Versus Ash, yes. You heard that story, right?
There is a Freddy versus Jason versus Ash comic.
Oh, yeah?
Or at least I think there is.
I really want to read the comic because I actually listened to a Bruce Campbell interview not too long ago. He was on the Jim and Sam show. Big fan. But he was saying how Freddy versus Jason versus Ash was supposed to happen in the cinema. And he's like, yeah, of course I'd be willing to play everything. Like, it sounds fantastic. Like, it would be great to see a movie where Ash gets to take out both Freddy and Jason. And there was just a long pause on the phone, and they're like, yeah, that's not like how the movie's gonna go. Click, like, whatever. But that is the right move, because out of all those guys, Ash is the best.
Oh, of course.
Ash
yeah.
has to win, or else,
Or at least put up a decent enough fight.
or at least come back as a Deadite.
And then kick their ass even more with an army of Deadites?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at this point in the movie, we get the best, creepiest delivered line, which is the mom, Marge, saying, he can't get you anymore because Mommy killed him. He can't get you anymore because Mommy killed him. And just, like, delivers it a couple times. That was the scariest part of the movie by far.
Mom, you dumb drunk bitch. This is exactly why I'm going to get killed, is because of you, you fucking idiot.
Right. Which you only half killed him. He's dead in real life, alive in Dreamland.
Yeah.
So, sucks. But Nancy goes and devises plan number 2 with Johnny, who's now supporting a fantastic half shirt, if you remember the shot. I'm a big Johnny Depp fan. The fantastic plan is Nancy's going to do a bunch of work, and Johnny's going to hit him with a baseball bat. So
there you go.
It's a great plan. It is a great plan. But Captain Boozebag is found toiling through a hallway vodka and completely ruins the plan. Glenn finds himself asleep with parents that absolutely do not care about the neighborhood rubbish, which in the end probably saved him a lot in college. But Nancy has every roadblock, including a demonic phone, and is not able to get any contact
to anybody at all.
And then it just shows Glenn all fast asleep with the TV on him, with the headphones on, and he goes into the blood blender.
That is one of the coolest shots ever.
All-time horror movie kills.
Of just so slow, all in one take. He just seeps into the bed.
Right.
And then all this shit just shoots up.
Like, way more blood than would ever be in one person.
Yeah.
Just, it was cool. It was a really cool death.
Yes. And like, I want to know, like, the ins and outs of how that shot was accomplished.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I almost want to pause it and be like, let's look it up right now.
No pausing. One take.
No pausing. One take. So Lieutenant Thompson gets to the murder scene, and Nancy cuts a deal with him through the phone. He finally catches up. It knows her dad's over there. Movie magic. So she says, come arrest this man who did it, and all you have to do is knock down my door in exactly 20 minutes. And then she does 30 minutes of booby trapping instead of sleeping. And totally just Home Alone's the house from the start, which is pretty badass.
Yeah.
It's not going to lie. In fact, one of the things was totally stolen in Home Alone again, which was the hammer drop from the door.
Oh, yeah.
That was definitely in Home Alone. Like, maybe it wasn't in a door, but it was definitely like the dropped hammer. Pretty freaking sweet, dude. But we get a couple more when she finally is done booby trapping the house and gets to go to sleep. We get some cool, slow mystery shots of the gross boiler room. This is the longest that we're able to like see ourselves in this creepiness, where like we're familiar with it for sure, but now it's a setting. It used to just be like a quick one over. Now it's but she finds headphones that says Glenn, and then she just straight up demands Krueger. Just show yourself right now. I'm done. Like, come on. And then has a bit of a tussle and successfully brings him back to reality.
And this is one of my favorite lines in any movie ever. During this confrontation, you remember what she says to him?
No.
I think this is when she figures out that like you have to really believe in Kruger in order to get hurt by him.
All right.
And so she just looks at him and is like, "You hold no power over me.
Oh, that's
I'm
tight.
not afraid of you." All this like amazing shit.
Yeah.
And like that entire like monologue is just iconic. It's so good.
Dude, I'm surprised it's not sampled in black metal songs yet.
Well,
we gotta
that's
do
because
this.
black metal is like too depressing. That's a very like triumphant kind of monologue.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then we'll do like death metal, but in the form of a live metal.
There we go.
It's
yeah.
really just Pantera, I guess.
I guess so.
But yeah. But Nancy brings him back, and then her Home Alone house is wildly successful.
Yep.
It's pretty sweet to see everything kind of go on because her father and the cops don't do anything. Like
They are useless.
they're completely useless. Like Nancy is smashing through the window, just yelling for help. So after Nancy is yelling at the cops and the parents and the everything, and just going like, "Oh my gosh, dude, please, I need help. Someone's in here killing me." And the cops will literally just like, what's going on? like absolutely nothing. But so then we get a really cool little House of Horrors run through. Because we get a lamp exploding with Kruger, and we just get everything dip, duck, dive, dodge, dip, duck, dive, whatever, like going on.
Now the tables have like turned completely because this is a reality outside of his control.
Right.
She's the one who's in charge of everything that's going on, was the one that set the same traps, whereas the reverse was true previously, right?
Yeah.
And he can't figure out what the fuck to do now that the rules have changed completely.
Yeah. Dude, it's cool. And then he meets his first death, which he gets chased down to the basement, poured in gasoline, and then lit on fire, which is pretty sweet.
Yep.
And it takes all that time for her dad to come out of the house at all and realize, like, oh, something's going on. Oh, cool, the house that my daughter's in is currently burning.
No, not just is currently trapped in because of her crazy alcoholic mother.
Right, dude, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Which, speaking about the crazy alcoholic mother, as soon as the dad came in, saved the daughter, looks for everything, there's burning footprints all the way upstairs. And then so immediately Nancy's privy and goes, it's mom, runs up. And then goes, sees a burning Freddy Krueger, like trying to kill her mom or whatever. And then so the dad hops on with a blanket, and then both of them just disappear into awesome 1980s sci-fi greatness.
Yep.
Like, just complete nonsense, you know? Like, but Nancy done figure it out. She understands. And a really weird turn of, like, if she just announces, like, this is a possession in like a Christian church, like, just like, you have no power over me, that's nothing, like, you can't, because like Nancy and your dad have a sweet moment of just being like, what the fuck is this? This is gone. But the dad leaves, Nancy's there, and then Freddy, of course, comes back because he can't die.
Exactly.
And then just goes, I don't believe in you anymore. You're nothing to me. And then they just, like, dissipates like white noise on television.
Such a good fucking monologue.
Such
dude.
a cool, yeah. I mean, I'm going to start listening to that before I go to the gym.
Yes, you should, yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe because like it'll have the reverse effect if somebody's telling you like you have no power over me.
Right.
You're listening to that, right? Somebody tell you that, all of a sudden you're just not gonna be in that mindset, you know?
Right. And that is where the movie should have ended.
Should have, but oh boy, it didn't.
No. It had a real fun ending, but it also had a real fun ending.
If you just turn it off right then and there, yeah, perfect movie.
It's great. Yeah. But everyone needs a sequel. And so then the real ending of this movie is just insane. I mean,
the greatest practical effect of all time, that fucking dummy being torn through the door. Oh my god.
Dude, I know. Just like her mom turning into a blow-up doll. And
Yoink.
And you know from the start that it's fake because now she like went the complete other direction and is like announcing like, I just don't feel like drinking anymore. Isn't it a sunny day? Look, all your friends are in this convertible. Like, let's hang out. Let's do whatever. And then you know something's up when the convertible shuts. And then you see Freddy's sweater pattern on the rag top. Oh, that was so cool. But yeah, then it just kind of suddenly ends with the car driving off and the mom being like torn into the house.
Yep.
And then classic 80s styling. Time for 6 more movies.
God,
Like,
it feels like the only reason why that's there is because all the other movies that came before it have that same shit, right? Of just like Carrie bursting out in the grave, or like Jason at the end of Friday the 13th popping out and
Right.
grabbing on that girl. It's like, oh, we can't just have like a solidified ending. We have to have a cliffhanger. People
Right.
love the cliffhanger. It makes them go, ah!
yeah. Like, yeah. But no. They couldn't just wrap it up, which honestly I'm kind of glad they didn't, because I'm actually less interested in watching more of the Friday the 13th franchise than I am more interested in the Friday the 13th franchise than I am watching more of the Nightmare on Elm Street, because I feel like the Nightmare on Elm Street like wrapped it up. Like, it was good. And now all the actors, like, I don't know if those actors go into the sequels, like
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh, do they?
Well, in Nightmare on Elm Street,
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a somewhat of a
Connection.
connection, yeah.
Well, eventually I will definitely see it, but
You
like,
need to watch Nightmare on Elm Street too, because it is like the gayest movie ever made.
oh yeah,
And I don't mean that like derogatory. I mean like
like it is.
and the whole thing feels like a practical joke being played on the director, because it's straight up like one of the most homoerotic movies I have ever seen in my entire life.
Really?
The writer of it eventually came out and said, I wrote this movie as an allegory for coming out of the closet and being gay.
Really?
The director, to this day, swears. I had no idea that there was gay messages in this movie. I thought I was just making a scary film.
Yeah, but
But when you see it and there's like, they go to an S&M club and there's shots of like dudes getting fucking spanked and shit, and like,
hell yeah.
dude, you have to see it. And the
Yeah.
entire time be like, what is going on in your brain? I get it's the 80s before this was like a widely discussed kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But when you're filming like two dudes grinding on each other and most of the movie is just close up of dude ass, you're kind of like, hi, maybe this might be or like thought of as a little homoerotic.
Yeah, just a little. Damn. Okay. All right.
It's great.
Jason, I'll get to you,
I
but-
love number 2. It's fun. Number 3 and 4 are decent enough. I
Yeah.
feel like out of all of these, like Nightmare on Elm Street had the longest stretch of like decent enough films before it started to fall off.
Okay. All right. So I mean, I'm gonna wait until we do the sequels and then the triple episodes.
Hell yeah.
But I just want you to know that I want to do them. Because
Good.
now I'm definitely chomping at the bit. Now that I'm actually familiar with any of these franchises too, but yeah, I guess my final thoughts on this movie is it's had my attention throughout. I thought the way Freddy was portrayed, equal part terrifying and cartoon character, helped add to the intensity.
Let's say it is 1980, whatever. Okay,
Uh-huh.
You are in charge of the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
Okay.
You have to not like direct, but at least come up with the direction of the series. Okay.
Okay.
Now, you loved Friday or Nightmare on Elm Street because it's cartoony and because it was terrifying, right?
Uh-huh.
What direction are you taking that series if you have to make the two choices?
Cartoony.
Okay, yeah, you made the exact same choice
Cool.
that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fucking producers did of A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, honestly, that's where the charm is. Because it was the intense parts, I think, were like accentuated because of the kind of goofy stops that it comes at too. Because it, like, I don't know, it makes you like Freddy a little bit more, and it makes you like the whole movie, or it made me like the whole movie a little bit more. But it also, I feel like if it was all played straight, then I wouldn't like it as much, because
Right.
it would just be like dark and like, oh yeah, I get it, like kids die. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of movies where that happens. Like,
One of the reasons why this sticks out, and of all the 3 movies, to me, this one is my favorite, despite the fact that the ending really contradicts this. The feeling that I got from Nightmare on Elm Street was evil exists, and it's in every town, but it's something that you can overcome.
that's cool.
Until the very ending of the movie, where
Yeah.
it turns out actually it's
You
there
can't
and
overcome
you
it.
can't
Yeah,
overcome
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Turns out your parents will get you killed, and then
Turns out your parents never wanted you to begin with, so that's why they just like are okay with you getting killed this
Yeah.
horribly brutal way. Yeah,
your dad is a fantastic lieutenant that has solved every single case except for yours.
except for
And
yours.
That's how it goes. Well, yeah. I can see why these movies are a classic. I think even though I think we were too hard on Friday the 13th, but I think we were just hard enough on Friday the 13th. But I also think that like the fact that all of these movies got the franchises that they did, I feel like they all deserved it. You know?
Yeah.
To a certain, I gotta watch more of it, and they are the tropes that we follow, and I'm excited to see like more of the '80s like icons as we continue. Because I honestly had no desire to see Chucky until now. Then I see the other shit that happened in the early '80s, and I'm like, what do you do with it all? So that'll be cool. But yeah, dude, that's the three.
That's the big three, yeah.
That is the big thing.
Out of your favorite, or out of all these three, your favorite one's Halloween?
Favorite one's Halloween.
Cool.
I think I might have the rewatchability though go to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could put that movie on anytime.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. I mean, same with Friday, or same with
Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Nightmare on Elm Street, if you have friends that haven't seen this movie, I would want to watch it with my friends.
Exactly, yeah.
Whereas like Halloween
And instead of watching the movie, just like turn around and watch their reactions the whole time.
Right. Yeah.
Especially when you know the shit is about to go down, you just immediately like,
what's going on? You know? Yeah, and I mean, because I
like lean over and swat the phone out of their hand when they're trying to like just scroll while it's on.
Right.
We respect cinema in this house. Ugh!
Oh yeah, put a timer on everyone's phone and be like, you get 15 minutes of whatever app you like.
We're
but
putting
that's
this movie on.
Yeah.
Okay. We're about to make like a pretty big order to Domino's, and the first one to pick up their phone to check the time or whatever has to pay.
That
Deal.
I like that.
There we
I
go.
Like that. Speaking about Domino's, you want to get Domino's?
Sure. Why not?
I love Domino's.
Sponsored by Domino's, I guess.
Sponsored by Domino's.
We'll get whatever. So, anything else on these three films that you want to say?
No, I had an enjoyable time, and I'm happy that I now have all these under the belt, and I am gleeful for how I liked all these movies, but I'm also terrified knowing that this is like your chump change. You know, like that. I feel like the curtain that you're about to unveil back is gonna get real intense real quick. So
I'm gonna ease you into it. I know that you're still a normie, so we can't really get you into like new wave French horror cinema quite yet. But
Not
we'll
yet.
get there.
But then
We're gonna get there, and by
Yeah.
then, like, I guess like there's either one or two reactions, right? When we get to those films, you're probably either gonna just not be fazed by them because you've seen everything at that point,
yeah.
or you are going to stop talking to me and regret ever doing this podcast.
It'll be the coin flip. So
Yeah.
stick around.
Stick around.
See what happens.
So, Jimmy, I feel like your reports here are top notch. This is our first episode, but you know what? On these, I'm going to give you a solid A+.
Hey,
You
right
did the
on.
work. You
Yeah,
put
yeah.
in the effort. You did a really good job on these. I liked hearing your opinions on these films. So I think we're going to go a little deeper now, okay?
Okay.
We're going to go with one iconic slasher that was before Halloween and Friday the 13th. And then we're going to go with two byproducts of those.
Oh, okay.
So, for next week, I want you to watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
I want you to watch one of my favorite movies ever. Not just slashers, but ever.
Ever.
Hellraiser.
Hell
I
yes.
also want you to watch the very first Child's Play.
Oh, we get Chucky right now?
We get Chucky right now.
Oh, shit. All right. I'm excited for that then.
As you should be, yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
we're going down to like, you're familiar with like iceberg memes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so think of like this first lesson here as like the very, very tip of the iceberg, right?
Uh-huh.
So no, like if somebody had never even watched a horror movie before in their life, they would have at least known either Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees or Freddy Krueger.
Right.
Now we're going one little tier beneath that to the
One
more,
deeper.
to the more iconic horror icons, right? So
Okay.
like Leatherface was way before any of these films. Hellraiser is
Pinhead, right?
Yeah, Pinhead.
Cool.
Actually, he likes to go by the term Hell Priest. Even Clive Barker, the creator of Hellraiser, says that's the real name. In fact, Clive Barker hates the name Pinhead.
Well, I hate the name Hell Priest or whatever.
That's what you
Sorry,
fucking
Clive.
dorks sound like, by the way, when you hit me with that shit. So Pinhead, yes.
Yeah. So
And
Penny
then,
Boy.
And then, of course, everybody's favorite, Chucky from Child's Play.
Cool.
So 3 more like iconic horror characters. We're gonna go through. We're gonna watch the movies that they started in, talk about those. I'm gonna make a prediction that your favorite is going to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
All right. Is it because I am inclined to move to Texas?
No, it's because it's like one that I feel like is definitely up your alley the most.
Oh, okay, right on. Yeah. Does it have boobs in it?
I don't think so, actually. Did any of
Nice.
these movies have titties in them?
Ooh, scanning the
I
brain.
gotta scan the brain here. This is kind of like a... Because it's one thing that I always like, I don't like horror movies because it's always about blood and it's always about tits.
Yeah.
Halloween had literally none of those, right?
Halloween, no tits.
No titties and no blood.
No.
Jason Voorhees, Friday the 2nd,
Maybe.
1776.
I'll say maybe.
I don't think there were titties in that one.
No, there was a strip. No, I think you're right on the no titties, but there was like a strip game of whatever.
Did they get in the bra? You at least kind of saw some titties?
Yeah. Yeah, we almost got a payout in that movie, but not
almost.
like,
and then Freddy Krueger, obviously, there's no titties in that one. So
No,
it's all
no.
high school kids. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, well, hopefully get some nice ones in the next batch.
There's a naked woman in Hellraiser, but naked in the sense that she doesn't have skin.
Oh,
Yeah. Spoilers.
not exactly like the latex porn in this episode.
I imagine like instead of latex, there's latex is like an added layer of skin. This one is there's no skin.
Anti-latex porn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is now an anti-latex
This
podcast.
is
We
Quaker
get these
porn for
fucking
the
freaks
witches.
Out of our... So we want to thank you for joining us on this episode. If you
Gracias.
have gotten through this, you are a saint, especially near the end. YouTube fucking hates horror creators, so the fact that you've even found this podcast is a miracle in itself.
The fact that it's episode 1 and you're listening to it right now.
That means you are my mom, and you are listening to this, and I love you.
If you're not already followers of Joe or I on any of the social medias and
Excuse
you
me,
are
Professor
listening...
Spooky?
Sorry, Professor Spooky
Yeah.
and I.
I fucking earned that PhD.
Prof.
You don't call your teacher by their first name.
Sorry, Trent. That was Mr. Mitchell.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Shout outs, Mr. Mitchell.
Yeah.
He's probably listening to this
Yeah.
if he's still alive.
For sure. Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
He was cool. He's a younger guy.
But there's plenty of ways to help out the podcast. First of which, if you're watching this on YouTube, please drop a like, leave a comment, do all that cool shit. If you are listening to this on any podcasting streaming service, just leave a little review. Even if it's 1 letter. If you just type 1 star and then L. That's it. It still helps.
I mean, honestly, if you're listening or watching this without knowing Joe or I personally, as it is the first episode, pat yourself on the back. You rule.
You deserve something nice.
You are great for people trying to make stuff with their lives.
I want you to find something very expensive and buy it for yourself because you deserve it.
It's not going to be covered by us. Let's just make that clear. But you deserve to buy
I
it
will make it
yourself.
very clear right now. Jimmy will pay for it. He will reimburse you on everything that you buy to everybody who's watching it and make it to the end.
Asterisks of the 500-year payment plan. But
Yeah, in 500 years he'll pay it off. But other than that,
cool. Well, thanks, dudes.
stay tuned for the next episode and lesson of Spooky School. We will see you next time we see you. Until we meet again, take care and stay spooky, my friends.
Should I make a different song for the outro music?
Nah. Just have it. No, let's do the outro from the intro, but reversed.
Så, ja, det er det bedste.